Joseph Campbell. Goddamn bugs everywhere. Bella! What's going on, man? It's been one hell of a week. One hell of a year. One hell of a. One hell of a. It's freaking hot, as usual. But I wanted to come outside and chat. Okay. How's it going out there, Bella? Anything new and exciting? Kiki, hello. Kicked back. Okay. There's bugs keep flying on my screen. Let me see. What's I feel like this world is like, I feel like we're in a dream. I feel like this is a movie. I feel like we're in a movie. I feel like we're in a movie and it's getting pretty scary. It's getting really scary. I mean, I know it's supposed to get dark before the storm, but in the meantime, I mean, it's like they're fighting so hard, you know? They're fighting so hard. Fighting hard. So Bella, you're back east, you said, right? So you're not going to be out here for the Spawn Ranch thing next week. Rap Cat. Rap Cat's in the house too. Now, I had some photos I wanted to go over with you guys last time, but now I'm outside on my patio and I have everything is hooked up out here. Got my generator going. So now I can screen share without being in the house because I just don't feel like being locked up in the house. I feel like all of the energy is drained out of me too. Anyways, look, anybody want to come in and chat? Let me give you guys the secret code, the back code, the back code. There's the link if anybody wants to come in and chat and talk about what's going on in this world. I have some stuff I want to go over. First of all, I'm gonna let me get the pictures. Here we go. I tried to email them to myself so I'd be ready. But now I've got my computer out here. Let me see. Every time you email the pictures to yourself, it just says pictures. It's pretty lame. Okay. Anybody here heard of Joseph Campbell? Joseph Campbell is the guy that started all of the he really dug deep into the mythology stuff. He dug deep into the mythology. And I've been thinking about it today, and I was thinking, okay, with all this shit that's going on, maybe we should go backwards. Maybe we should go backwards and find out what maybe mythology was saying. If there's anything we can learn from what's going on. You know, like maybe if we dig backwards, you know, maybe we should dig deeper into what mythology says or what people predicted. Maybe that shit is going to come true. You know, like I'm trying to find the pictures. Of course I can't find the pictures. But let me show you this. So like, look. This is this guy. He's very brilliant. He passed away. And I remember getting his book when I was you know, back in my party days, so there's no sense in me even reading it, but this guy wrote a bunch of books, and one of them was called The Man with a Thousand Faces. But this is his drawing. Joseph Campbell's let me come back here and share it. The share button didn't work. Hold on. This, I think, here we go. I got it. No problem. Let me just warm up here. Okay, this is Joseph Campbell. This is Joseph Campbell's. You guys can hear? Okay, yeah, okay. So make sure. Okay, this is Joseph Campbell. He was very brilliant, and he went really deep into mythology. Very deep into mythology, okay? And this is his writing, and he talks about the hero's journey. It's really deep, okay? So he goes into the call to an adventure. I mean, look at this. And then he goes into the supernatural aid, which is the threshold to the guardian. Okay? This okay, let me make this bigger for us, okay? Cuz this is pretty deep shit. Let's see what we can let me hold on. Let me make it bigger so we can see it. This stuff is really deep. So I think we should dive into this. This one's called The Hero's Journey. This one is, let me open it. Let me open it so it's bigger. Still too small. But there's something about a full circle. You know, like how the Harry Kirshners have a full circle? Well, this one is, he talks about the upside down worlds. He talks about this world, then he talks about the unknown world, okay? He talks about the unknown world. Let me see. Okay. He talks about the known world, and then he talks about the unknown world, right? And number one is the call to adventure. That's us, right? Call to adventure. He talks about the call to adventure. This is like, hold on, this is deep. Let me get this bigger. Listen carefully, okay? The call to adventure is the disruption and awakening. What the hell are we fucking going through right now? This is, number one is call to adventure, the disruption and awakening. Okay? Right? This is, okay. Then it goes on like a circle, okay? The call to adventure, the first threshold, the road of trials, the abyss, the transformation, the apotheosis, I'm not sure what that word is, and return to the threshold. Okay? This is full circle of stuff. It's mythology. This is a consolidation model. Okay? This is like, God dang it. This is like, I feel like if we, maybe this is like another roadmap that we can follow now. Something that's happening now. Call to adventure, disruption, awakening. Boom. First threshold is resistance and commitment. Dude, that's what we're going through. The first threshold is resistance and commitment. Like, what are we witnessing right now? Resistance, and then people are committing. So a lot of people that are getting the you know what, they're all like, oh, it's a badge of honor. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. It's a badge of honor. That's the commitment. First you resist, then you commit, right? And then we have the road of trials. The challenges, the temptations. Well, they're offering money and they're trying to shame us into doing stuff that we're not supposed to be doing. So this is like the world and unknown world. Call to adventure, disruption, awakening. Boom, that's exactly what we're going through. 2, first thresholds, resistance and commitment. Okay, I got it. Look at me, badge of honor. Then you have the road of trials, challenges, and temptations. Well, the temptations, I believe, are going to be the bullying. You're going to lose your job if you don't. You're going to be, look at what they did with the NFL. If you don't get it, then you have to be on a different plane than us. It's like, dude, that's like, oh, but here we go. Cajun, I need you because I want to talk about Cajun. I want to talk about Joseph Campbell, and I know you know shit about him. I don't know if you want to come on, Cajun. I don't know if you brushed your hair. Listen, I want to talk about this because I think we should go backwards, not forwards. Let's look into what mythology was saying and other brilliant people were saying. And Joseph Campbell, he dug into mythology. It was way ahead of his time. Okay? So let me go back and show this. You don't know him? Oh my God, this is great. Marcus, hello. Cajun, this is great. Okay, this is really, really good news. Okay, so this is good news, you guys, that you don't know him. So here we go. Listen, this is important, okay? This is very, very important. So let me back up and show you who Joseph Campbell is. He was one of the first guys that, hold on, let me show you. He was one of the first guys that talked about mythology and deities, okay? Let me just show you. I know you don't like Wikipedia, but let me just go here really quick so you can get an idea. Here we go. This is important. You're gonna dig it, Cajun. You're gonna dig it. Joseph Campbell was ahead of his time. He did a very famous book, which I have, which I didn't read. He did a book called The Man with 1,000 Faces. Okay, so here's the definition of him. His work covers many aspects of the human experience. Campbell's best-known work is his book The Hero with 1,000 Faces in 1949, in which he discusses the theory of journey of, I don't know what this word is. It's archetypal hero. Here it goes. Let me go. Mythology. It's mythology, but here we go. This is what he says. The fear factor. The concept of archetype appears in areas relating to behavior, historical, psychological, and literally in analysts. Okay, so let's go back. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Please come on. Anybody come on with me so we can study this because I think we have to go backwards. Okay, listen. So he's known for mythology, okay? Big time mythology, and he studied deeply in the world of mythology, okay? He went deep. He went into like India, Buddhas. He went and studied all of it, and he found a lot of stuff in common which had to do with the different gods, okay, the deities, and it all makes sense. So here we go. Since the publication of The Hero with 1,000 Faces, Campbell's theories have been applied by a wide variety of modern writers and artists. His psychology, his philosophy has been summarized by his own often repeated phrase, follow your bliss. He gained recognition in George Lucas's credited is influence of Star Wars. And we all know Star Wars, somebody gave him an inside scoop. Campbell's approach to folklore topics such as myths and his influence on popular culture has been the subject of criticisms and focused. Let me scroll down. Okay. So he went to all these colleges and blah, blah, blah. Okay. His concept, mythology, okay? His concept of the monomyth, that means one myth, refers to the theory that sees all mythical. Let me hold on. Let me make this bigger so we can all maybe possibly see it. This is important. Okay, here we go. I hit the wrong button as usual. Hold on. This has to do with mythology. Here we go. Campbell's concept of the one myth refers to the theory that sees all mythical narratives as a various of a single great story, which is kind of true with all religions, right? Like most religions all have this similar, there was a flood, there was a Noah, there was an Adam and Eve, whatever they want to call it, it is definitely the same ideology. Okay. The theory is based on the observation that a common pattern exists between the narrative elements of most great myths. Okay? Regardless of their origin or time of creation, Campbell often referred to the ideas of Adolf Bastin as this distinction between what he called folk and element ideas. Okay? The central pattern most studied by Campbell is often referred to the hero's journey and was first described as the hero journey with 1,000 faces. The Greek gods aren't mythical. Exactly! That's what I'm trying to say. This guy studied this stuff and he was ahead of his time. And when he came out and started telling this, it was way above people's heads, way over their heads. Okay? So he's a strong believer in the psychic unity of mankind and its poetic expression through mythology. I love mythology. There's so much truth in mythology, more than some of this other shit. Okay. Campbell made use of his concept to express the idea that the whole of human race can be seen as engaged in an effort of making the world transparent to transcendence by showing that the underworld, by showing that underneath the world of phenomena lies an internal source which consists pouring of its energies into the world of time, suffering to ultimate death. To achieve this task, one needs to speak about things that exist before words. Okay, possibly. Okay, hold on. So now, as the story spread through space and evolved through time, it was broken down into various local forms. Depending on the social structures and environmental pressures that existed in the culture that it interpreted, the basic structure, however, remained relatively unchanged and can be classified using the various stages of the hero. So he's going to talk about the journey. They are the men of the renown, as the Bible speaks in Genesis 6. Okay. This has everything to do with, here we go. According to Campbell, the absolute mystery of life, which he calls a transient reality, cannot be captured directly into words or images. Now, while I'm showing, now we're talking, let me go and show you this now. Okay, now that I have you guys here for a minute. Okay, now, okay, so this is what he is talking about. This is his description, okay? Read into this because it's deeper than we think. Willie, okay, hold on, you guys. I got to get something. I'm getting bit by, hold on one second. So hold on, read this. I got to light a candle, boo. Helter skelter. Helter skelter. Okay. So this guy, you guys, Instagram, y'all. Hi, Donna. Okay, we're talking about Joseph Campbell. So now this guy This guy, his theories were so good that he even had a series on TV for a minute, like pretty good. And I remember watching him when I was like, I don't know, I was like 20 or something like that, and I was like still partying, and I was like so mesmerized because what he said made sense, but I didn't understand about mythology, and everything was the same. You know what I mean? Like all of the like everything was, it just made sense to me because he kept calling them deities, and I didn't know what that word meant, and obviously it means gods, right? And when he literally, like, who is the number one UFO guy? Eric Von Dam, or whatever his name is, right? That guy literally went to South America, to Mexico, to Egypt long before it, everybody had internet and airplanes. So some of these guys that did their homework, like Eric Von Dam, like Joseph Campbell, they literally went to places and did their homework and went to these temples, okay? This guy did it. Now watch. This is like a scenario of what he's trying to describe with the hero with 1,000 faces. Okay. Um, he calls it the up. It's like he doesn't say upside down world, right? He doesn't call it upside down world, but he calls it the known world and the unknown world. Okay. Yeah, Van Dam. That's it. He calls Joseph Campbell calls it the known world and the unknown world, and he calls it the hero's journey. And it starts where they're right here. It's the call to adventure, then the supernatural aid. The supernatural aid, okay? And then that is the threshold to start of the transformation. He calls it the helpers. Challenges and temptations. So you have call to action, challenges and temptation, abyss, death, and rebirth, transformation, atonement, return, gift of goddess. Okay, now let me show you this where we were first. When you guys, the first one is a little bit more easier to read. This, what the hell's going on? I can hear some noise. Okay, whoa, check it out. Okay, so in this scenario, this is his theory after all of his studying. Really, right here, the hero's journey. Act 1, separation. Where's Act 2? Look at what he writes. Ordinary world, world not naval, special world. Look, he talks about ordinary world, the world naval, and special world. It's the upside down world. It's the world. It's like, this is the shit that we're like investigating. What is the unknown world? Act 1, separation. Act 2, supreme ordeal. Act 3, unification. Now, let me back up so it's a little more clear as what he's trying to say. Right. This one. Let me download this one and we can zoom in on it. Because this one, he says it, I don't know, I think there's some key words in here that are pretty intense. Hold on, let me open it bigger so we can see. It is wild. Come on, this is like real stuff. This is like what we talk about. Okay, the 17 stages. There was 12. I don't know how we got to 17. Here we go. Call to adventure, refusal to call, supernatural aid, crossing the first threshold, belly of the well, road to trials, meeting with the goddess temptation, atonement with the Father, the ultimate boon, refusal of return, magic flight, rescue from without. Master of two worlds. Look at that. Let me go back because there was another one that had some key things. It was crazy. It's crazy. So why does he talk about supernatural aid? And he talks about Hercules. He talks about Hercules. Where was the first one? Hold on, because it was saying something really crazy. Not this. Maybe it's this one. Okay, here we go. This is it. This is better. This is better. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So it says right here, everyday world. Okay? And then known world and then unknown world. Now, it says right here, it's hard to read. I'm going to tell you. Call to adventure is disruption and awakening. Hello! Awakening. Hello. Refusal to call and the supernatural aid. So what does that mean? Does that mean we need supernatural aid to help us with our awakening? Then he says the first threshold is resistance and commitment. Resistance and commitment. Like you don't want to go and see the unknown world. Like you're fighting it. Like you're fighting it. You don't want to see it. Then the road of trials. Challenges and temptations. Challenges and temptations. So they must be, I don't know, bribing you. Anyways, then this one is the supreme ordeal, which is the abyss. Meeting with the goddesses. Meeting with the goddess. These are the 12 stages, right? Meeting with the goddess, the woman as a temptress. What's that word? And then something with the father. Okay, then transformation, relevation, and rebirth. Then you die and you're reborn and you return to the threshold. Now, let me tell you guys something. Some of the stuff that I do, okay, some of the stuff that I do is I see it all. I see it all. And sometimes I think to myself, you know, is this a circle of life that keeps going on and on and on? Like, is it a circle of life where, you know, like some of the creatures that we're taking are from here, but from another time, right? We talk about the unknown world. We talk about the unseen world. We talk about this. We talk about, you know, we talk about this. And this guy, Joseph Campbell, wrote about it. He went to different countries and investigated and interviewed. He went to temples and all of these things that long before you could even really make a telephone call, you know, unless you were Elvis Presley and you had endless amounts of money. Call him Priscilla. Elvis and Priscilla. Like, I think that we should look backwards and see if we can study anything. There you go. Damn it, James. We're talking about Joseph Campbell. This Joseph Campbell. The rebirth. The 12 stages. It's called the known and the unknown world, James. The known and the unknown world, James, right here. It's Joseph Campbell. He would talk about mythology and put the pieces together about deities. James, it's about Joseph Campbell. So let me read this that now we can read better. Act 1, the separation departure. The call to adventure. The hero is taken from normality to heed a task. Hello. What are we doing? Hello. We are the heroes taken from normality to heed a task. This is it. This is us. You understand? This is us. The hero is taken from normality to heed a task. That is the call to adventure. What is my channel called? My channel is called Exploring. Donna said your name wrong. But hold on. James, I wish I can get your input on this because I need the smart people, all of you guys, because this is like, seriously, this is serious. Because I was thinking about this guy, so let's go on. Let's move on. Number 2, refusal to the call. Refuse out of duty and obligation, fear and insecurity, or a sense of inadequate. Okay, that's it. Okay, so this is the hero's journey. Got it? We that see, believe the unknown, we are the heroes. It says we are taken from normality to heed a task. Hello, that's us. Number 2, we refuse it out of our fear and insecurity and sense of inadequacy. Okay, don't we also? I know at the beginning I was like, nah, I don't see it. Nah, you know what I mean? Denial. Here we go. Number 3, the supernatural aid. The supernatural aid is the guide, the helper that appears and may give artifact or advice to be used later. Oh my God, that is what we're doing. So when you resist it, you feel you're inadequate, then a supernatural aid comes to help with advice. This is us, okay? Number 4, crossing the threshold. Now we kind of go, okay, now we know our calling. Let's move on. The hero is thrusted into the unknown. Hello, that's us. The hero is thrusted into the unknown. Now, to me, that's acceptance. I see it. Now I accept it. All of us together, yeah. Number 5 is the belly of the well. More unknown than before, the hero undergoes metamorphosis. What's that mean, guys? What does that mean, metamorphosis? What does that mean? The hero goes under metamorphosis. What's that mean? Hypnotize? What's that mean? Because that's number 5, the belly of the well. I'm going to try and zoom in on this. This is like, I think this, really? There's bugs everywhere. Here we go. Like a tadpole to a frog. Okay. Transformation. Thank you, Cajun. Okay, I tried to zoom in on it so you guys can see. So the belly of the well is transformation. Okay. Act 2 is the invitation. Okay, let me just back up and say it again. This is the hero's journey. It's given you the increments. This is great. The road of trials. Trials of tests, tasks, ordeals they must do to transform. Often failing most of them. The road of trials is number 6. That's scary. Okay. I don't know if I've hit that yet. What's that beepy? No. Somebody keeps texting me. I keep deleting it. Sorry. Number 7, the meeting of the goddess. Here we go. They meet a love that will help them transform. Interesting. So you need some help and you have the goddess. Okay. Okay, number 8, woman as a temptress. A lust tries to lead the hero into abandon their quest. Money, power, and sex. So that's number 8. Number 9, atonement with the Father. Everything leads to this. Hero confronts the ultimate power in their life. Number 10, that word I couldn't say, apotheosis. Someone or something dies. Rest for hero who fulfills. Peace with it before the return. Someone or something dies. 11, the ultimate boom. The trophy of the quest. All previous steps here purify the hero to receive this holy grail, exoneration, or a weapon. The road of trials, I believe, is making us a decision to good or bad. Okay, I believe that. Because remember, he wrote this crap in 1949, so he's still, sexist. He's still, man is a man, woman's a woman. Okay, this is good. So now we're at Act 3, the return. Refusal of return. After what they've seen, they want to stay. This is the hero. The stages. Number 13, the mech flight. Okay, the hero escapes with Boone. Others want it. The journey home can be just as more dangerous. Okay, so it's a journey. So far it's a dangerous journey. Number 14, rescue from without. Rescue from without. The guardian angel. We die physically, but our soul energy goes on. Yes. Yes. Like, how like some people go, oh, the ghost doesn't know that they passed on and we're going to help them with guiding light. That's what this is like. The refusal of return. Number 14, rescue from without. Guide helps bring them back, wounded or weak. Number 15, crossing. The return of the threshold. Retain knowledge and share it. Now the hero, after going all the way to the underground into the unknown, now with all the knowledge after fighting, resistance, somebody dies, now they retain the knowledge and share it. Now, didn't some of you guys tell me that a lot of you guys have stuff that happens and you don't sleep well, and then when you wake up, you can't remember if you were taken or what have you? Well, this just says that the part of the journey is that at one point you're going to, it says right here, number 15, retain the knowledge and share it. Yep. Crossing the return of threshold. Retain the knowledge and share it. Okay. Number 16, master of two worlds. Oh, now we're masters of the two worlds. Transcendental hero, quote unquote Jesus, a human retains balance in the material and spiritual world. It says it. Master of the worlds. After you come back, you retain the knowledge and you share it. You're the master of two worlds, because now a human retains balance in the material and spiritual worlds. Then number 17. Mind blowing if you stop to think about it. I know. It's like he's giving you the steps, like somebody told him. Think about it. This guy had all this, whether it's knowledge, he made it up, science fiction, or he saw it or experienced it. The bottom line is he is responsible for the Star Wars. Partly. Number 17. Freedom to live. Freedom from fear of death. Living in the moment, not anticipating the future or regret the past. Here's what he writes. Kurt von Gunt, New and Old Testament, Cinderella, Man in the Hole, Boy Meets Girls. A hero ventures forth from the world of common day into religion or supernatural wonder. Fabulous forces are encountered and a decisive victory is won. Wow. We as humans. Dualities. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dualities. Okay. That makes sense. Forces are encountered and a decisive victory is won. A hero returns from this mysterious adventure with power to bestow boon for his fellow man. Wow. It's right here. This is Joseph Campbell. I welcome you guys to Google him, and you're going to be blown away. Now, this is getting interesting. I mean, if it's partially true, then we have a roadmap. Knowledge is power is exactly right. Campbell often referred to those conformity myths as the right-hand path to reflect the brain's left hemisphere. This is great. Campbell referred to the conformity myths as the right-hand path to reflect the brain's left hemisphere's abilities for logic, order, and liberty. Together with these myths' powers, he observes the existence of the left individual. No, wait, hold on. Okay, wait, hold on. He observes the existence of the left-hand path, mythical patterns like the hero's journey, which are the revolution in the character that they demand from the individual's surpassing of social norms and sometimes even morality. So he talks about the right-hand path and the left-hand path. You see that? See that? Evolution of myth. This is so crazy. The way of a seeded earth. First civilizations, as the first agricultural societies evolved into the highest civilizations of Mesopotamia and Babylonian. Look at that. They observed the stars, inspire them, the idea that life on earth must also follow a similar mathematical predetermined pattern with individual beings, but are mere participants in an eternal cosmic play. The king symbolizes the sun with the golden crown as its main metaphor, while his court were orbiting planets. The mother goddess retained her powers, now fixed within the rigid framework of a clockwork universe. However, the two barbarian incursions changed that. The Indo-Europe Aryan people descended from the north, and the Semitists swept up from the Arabian desert that carried with them a male domination mythology with a warrior god whose symbol was of thunder. As they conquer mainly due to the superior technology of the iron smelting, their mythology blended with the subrogated the previous system of the earth goddess. Many mythologies of the ancient world, such as these Greece, India, and Persia, are a result of the fusion with gods retaining some of the original trait characters belonging to a single system, such as Zeus. See that? So what happened is, like when I was, I don't know, like 20 or something, I don't even know. There was a show. This guy had a show, like, I don't know, like Mysteries of the Unknown. It was like in the 80s. It was in the 80s. He had a show, and I remember I was like sitting there just mesmerized watching it, going, "Oh my God!" Like the stuff he was saying made sense. He was talking about the deities and the gods, and he was talking about the similarities and all this crap. And back in the 80s, all I knew was the Harry Kirshners that sat on the beach, you know, and I didn't. So I remember watching this guy's show, and it was like the Mysteries of the Unknown or something, right? This all reverts back to the beginning when God sent angels down to watch over earth and his people. Yes! Yes. Oh, Bella, sorry. Bella's in. Bella's in the house.
Yeah, my son could tell you better about this stuff because he
The Epic of Gilgamesh, actually, the oldest written story in human history, actually follows the hero's journey. That's where Campbell got his ideas from, because he started reading stories throughout history and he found that they followed that very similar pattern.
See? Fucking bitchin'. I'm glad you knew that.
Yeah, it's my son Damian.
Yeah, I hope to be a history major, so I'm pretty good with little facts like that.
Then this is right up your alley. That's perfect. See? I like when I bring up these subjects and there's, the smart people in the room can talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I read it in high school. It was Campbell's book anyway. It was very interesting.
That's great. Tell us some more, because I'm just winging it because I don't remember this. I remember. Okay, so what happened is I watched the special. I was intrigued. Somebody bought me the book. I never wrote it. I never read the book, but like this stuff all resonates with what we're all trying to figure out right now, right? And so I was thinking the other day, I was like, you know what? I think that Joseph Campbell was onto something, and then that's why I brought this up, and it totally makes a lot of sense. So tell us again, because you talked fast. Say it again. What happened with this? How it happened?
Well, so the Epic of Gilgamesh is the oldest known written story that has been passed down that survived anyway that we found. It was written in cuneiform. It was originally written in ancient Mesopotamia during the height of Sumerian civilization. You're talking about around 6500 BC. So you're talking about even before the Great Pyramids of Egypt.
Wow.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
the first agricultural major cities. It started out, we think, as an oral tradition, and eventually was written down, but it follows the same pattern, the call to action, and it follows the call to action and has supernatural aid, like certain gods help out Gilgamesh during his journey. And George Lucas, like I said, drew inspiration from Campbell's work to originally start the original trilogy.
Right. Right.
And then after that, he actually made, if you look deeper into the symbolic meaning of the prequels to the original trilogy, you'll actually find that a lot of it mirrors, like a lot of the prequels mirror the original trilogy. So it's actually, you could kind of think of it like the original trilogy as being one circle of a hero's journey, and the prequel being another one that mirrors the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
it's
Because can you tell me what your thoughts are? Like, so how does it parallel that Darth Vader? Is he like, you think that is to symbolize like a god, or what do you think that,
well the
or like,
super, so for example, the original trilogy, right? So you start with your hero Luke, right? Average farm boy, not a lot going on in his life. He's in a comfortable, static. His life is normal, right? His call to action comes from the fact that the Imperials attack his home, kill his aunt and uncle,
right?
right? He gets supernatural aid from Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? The people are,
Supernatural aid is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Bingo. Go on. Woo, that's good.
so he's getting supernatural aid. He comes to an obstacle where the low point of the journey being when Obi-Wan Kenobi is killed, the Death Star is coming around Yavin 4, headed toward the Rebel base to wipe out the Rebel base, and eventually he ends up succeeding, blowing up the Death Star and returning to a comfortable space. Now, that's within one movie. Now, if you look at the trilogy, the low point of the trilogy would be The Empire Strikes Back, right? Because if you look at the way The Empire Strikes Back, first of all, it starts with the rebels fleeing the base and being chased across the galaxy by the Imperials, and by the end of it, pretty much everybody's screwed. You find out that Darth Vader's Luke's father. You find out that Han Solo is encased in carbonite. Jabba the Hutt has control of. Excuse me, sorry, I have to deal with that. Has control of Han Solo's body. Everybody's basically screwed. And then the Return of the Jedi is basically the climb back up the wheel, right? The returning to the happy stasis. So it starts off with Luke getting Han back, and then eventually the movie ends with the second Death Star being blown up, the Emperor being defeated, Darth Vader being redeemed, and at the very end you see Luke and his friends standing around, happily comfortable, celebrating on the moon of Endor. So each movie itself is a hero's journey, but if you look at the trilogy as a whole, it also acts as a giant hero's journey.
See, I never thought of that. So like what Donna said, realizing it was inside us the entire time, right?
Yep, exactly.
Fuck. And people are watching Star Wars that have shallow minds, and it's actually so much deeper that it's triggering. People don't understand something way bigger. That's amazing. Because I read this
That
scenario.
wasn't from me. That was from my son, Donna. That's not me talking. That was my son. She's like, "Oh, thank you." I'm like, "No, that's not me talking. That's my son."
Okay, well, your son's smart.
Yeah, well, he is. I mean, I'm not stupid, but I don't know that advanced as much as like he does, because they didn't teach that when I was going to school.
Yeah. So how old is your son?
I'm gonna be 26 next month.
He's gonna be 26 next month.
So then I was absolutely wrong. The young people do know. See?
Yeah, some of them do and some of them don't. I mean, it's a
Well,
even
it
keel.
also just happens to be, intellectual stuff is more my cup of tea. I watch a lot of history documentaries. A lot of people find a lot of the stuff that I find interesting dry. So, and I'm a big book reader, not so much now as I was when I was younger, but I still read. But I'll spend time on various websites just reading. I read the DSM-5 one time for fun, just
What
to,
is a DSM-5?
the Diagnostic Statistic Manual for Psychology.
Who knew? Who
But
knew?
yeah, I either want to go to school for history or astrophysics, one of the two. So my trigonometry and calculus is a little bit rusty, so I'd have to brush up on those skills then.
So let me read this about Joseph Campbell. The publication of The Hero and a Thousand Faces have been applied by a wide variety of modern writer and artists. It's been summarized by his own often repeated phrase, follow your bliss. He gained recognition in Hollywood when George Lucas credited Campbell for Star Wars Saga. There you go. Amazing. They took that and turned it into a story that I could not even imagine relates to this. It's amazing. That's amazing. And look, let me see what somebody's writing. They wrote he even sounds smart. We're talking about you. Here we go. What's that? What is that word?
Astrophysics, it's like the study of the theoretical physics behind like what makes stuff work in space. So for example, right, we understand that the Big Bang happened.
Okay.
So you think that so under Newtonian physics, right, objects at rest tend to stay at rest unless acted on by an outside force. So if a ball is sitting there, unless you pick it up and throw it, it's not going to move itself. Just like objects in motion tend to stay in motion unless acted on by an outside force. So, for example, your car is going to keep going until you hit the brakes or you hit a tree, right? That's why you wear seatbelts, because your body will keep traveling at the same speed the car was if the car comes to an abrupt stop and you'll end up flying through the windshield. So, by that logic of Newtonian physics, with the Big Bang, either the universe's expansion should be slowing down or it should be remaining at a constant speed, right? It should be slowing down because of gravity, or if
Right.
gravity is strong enough to act upon it, it should be going at a constant speed. But what astrophysicists have actually found is that the universe is actually expanding more and more and more quickly.
So it's
And
moving faster, not slowing down?
correct. And
Oh.
we think that's because of something called dark energy. Now, there's dark matter and dark energy. Dark matter is a term that's given. So for all the stuff that we can see, so like matter, right? Like you, me, the carpet, stars, uh, dust clouds in space, things of oxygen, right? For the stuff that we can see, we can only see about 7% of the matter that's supposed to be in the universe, right? That leaves 93% of stuff that we cannot see and we cannot detect.
Wait. Say that again. Say that again, because that's pretty interesting what we study.
So
the dark matter and dark energy.
So dark matter is the 93% of the stuff that so far with our current technology we cannot see. By see
We
I mean
cannot.
so
So
like
dark. Wait. So dark matter is what we cannot see. So this is a solid object, but that's not dark matter. Go on.
well, it's matter, but we can't detect it. By see I mean we can't detect it with any kind of instrument. Now,
Okay.
dark energy is what the term we use to describe why the universe is expanding quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. Because, like I said, under Newtonian physics and what you would think of as common sense logic, the force of gravity would either slow down the expansion of the universe, or if it wasn't strong enough to, the universe would at least be at a constant speed of expansion. But instead, it's getting faster, which means that there's some energy that we still can't figure out yet where it's coming from that's making everything fly apart faster and faster. Now, this has actually led to scientists to theorize that the way the universe will actually come to an end is what's called heat death. So eventually, the influence of gravity will become so weak on bonds of even atoms, molecules, and then atoms that there won't be any heat or energy left in the universe. Everything will go dark eventually because it'll end up flying apart too far, and eventually even atoms themselves will come too far apart and they'll stop producing energy. And it's called the heat death theory of the end of the universe. But that's stuff that astrophysics kind of explores.
So basically, there is another energy that we don't know about yet that
Correct.
is still, like, you know how the theory about the moon is hollow, it's really a base, right? You know, like the moon is really a stationary, you know, it's the starship, it's the main one, right?
Well, no, the moon, we think the moon formed as a result of, so when solar systems form, right, they start off with a big dust cloud that eventually gravity starts pulling this matter and stuff together, and you can't see it, but I tend to gesture a lot with my hands when I speak.
Yeah, okay.
Pulls this stuff together and eventually compresses the most simple element in the universe, hydrogen, with so much pressure that it starts combining in nuclear fusion into helium, right? So that's how stars burn. That's why stars don't use like what fire uses, right? Like wood. Because it's basically, the stars are giant nuclear bombs that are just constantly fusing hydrogen, which has one electron, into helium, which has two electrons, right? One hydrogen plus one hydrogen, you squish them together, they become helium.
Okay.
Now, the rest of the dust and crap that's left over from when the star forms eventually clumps together and they'll form planets. Now, sometimes you'll get what's called a binary star system. Binary meaning two. So Jupiter, we think, is actually a failed binary twin of the sun. Most solar systems actually have two stars in them. They don't have a single star like our solar system. They have two stars that rotate around each other. It's called a binary star system.
Okay.
So gas giants like Jupiter form, and then you get rocky planets like the Earth that form. Now, when the Earth formed, it was very molten. It was very hot and very malleable. So they think that in the early solar system, a Mars-sized object collided with the early Earth. And this did two things. First, it took all the iron that was on the crust and threw it out into orbit around the planet. That iron then coalesced back into a hard lump and sank into the center of Earth, which is why we have a solid iron core on this planet.
Like the magnetic part?
Well, yes, the iron core does have effects on the magnetic poles, but the bigger thing is that it actually creates a higher amount of gravity than the size of our planet should allow, because it has a solid mass. Wherever you have mass in the universe, you have gravity, right? Because you're bending space-time around that mass. Even you and I actually exert a slight gravitational pull. In fact, weight, what we call weight, is actually the interaction between your gravitational pull and the planet's gravitational pull. That's why, like on the moon, you weigh a third of the weight that you would weigh on Earth. Or on Jupiter, if you're like me and you're 130 pounds, on Jupiter, I would weigh almost 300 pounds, because it's a combination of the gravitational pull of my body and the gravitational pull of the planet that I'm on.
Right.
But the second thing that it did was it threw the lighter elements from the crust out into orbit, and that formed into the moon. Now, without the moon, we wouldn't have, so you notice that the Earth's axis is tilted, right? Whenever you see a globe, it's slightly tilted. That's why we have seasons, right? Because when the northern hemisphere during the summertime is pointed closer to the sun, it gets warmer, and that's why it's winter in the southern hemisphere right now, and vice
Right.
versa. When it's winter in the northern hemisphere, it's summer in the southern hemisphere. That actually allowed for life to develop on this planet because the moon actually stabilized our axial tilt.
Right. And it also like dictates the ocean, the waves, everything.
That's also true. The gravity of the moon actually pulls on the water, and because the moon formed while we were still molten, it actually allowed for the formation of continents as well. Because the crust of the Earth was molten, and parts of it were getting pulled toward the gravity of the moon, it allowed parts of the crust to be higher than other parts of the crust, which allowed for the formation of oceans and continents, as opposed to what astrophysicists call water worlds. Right? What the term exoplanet means a planet outside our solar system. And we found actually a couple what are called water worlds, which are these worlds that are completely covered by ocean. In fact,
Really?
and in fact, there were a couple periods in Earth's history where we were almost could be considered a water world. But without the moon stabilizing our axial tilt, we would, like a lot of planets, wobble on our axis. And what that would do would actually drastically change environmental stability to the point where life would not be able to develop outside single-celled organisms, what science calls extremophiles, right? So we have been able to find bacteria in the pits of really, really hot springs. We found at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, we actually found bacteria that does something called chemosynthesis. So like plants have photosynthesis, right? They take sunlight and water and they convert it into sugar to make food for themselves.
Right.
Well, what the bacteria at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, because you're talking 2 miles below the surface of the ocean.
The Mariana Trench is that thing underwater, right?
Yep, it's the deepest.
In the ocean. Okay, it's the deepest part, right?
Yep, it's 2 miles under the surface of the ocean. So you're talking absolutely no sunlight gets down there. In fact,
special animals live down there. Go on.
Yep. In fact, very little oxygen gets down there. So
yeah. Oh, that's interesting too, and heavy.
Yep. Well, yeah. There's a lot of pressure down there. A lot of pressure. So what you get are these volcanic vents that spew sulfur and all these chemicals out
underwater.
In the ocean. Yep. And what happens is there are bacteria that create food off of the water and the chemicals spewing out of this, and then you have an ecosystem and a food chain that builds up from those bacteria.
Right.
So without the moon forming, we wouldn't have been able to develop complex life forms such as cats, humans, plants, because the axis would wobble every couple hundred years, so we wouldn't be able to have.
So the moon stabilizes us, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And the moon is actually drifting out about 3 inches every year. It gets about 3 inches further away from us every year.
I documented the moon and the wrong rising from the west, and everybody was, which is fine. It's supposed to do that every now and then, but it just drastically changed. I wish you would explain that. So, like, I know the axle moves, but the problem is the moon rises in the east, sets in the west, right? And then we've been documenting it. It looks like it's rising in the west, and that's fine. But drastically, overnight, almost, the moon was back to normal. I was up 2 days ago. So I don't know how it did that.
That's part of the problem is our language hasn't really evolved since the concepts of the Middle Ages, where we had what was called a terra-centric idea of the universe. So terra from the Latin for earth, centric obviously being centric. So we thought for the longest time that the earth was the center of our universe and everything moved around us.
I see.
So when you look at our language, we still say stuff like sunrise. The sun's not rising, the sun's not moving. We're moving. We're turning on our axis. But because our language hasn't caught up yet, sometimes it can trick the brain into thinking stuff like the moon's rising in the west. But really what you're seeing is the moon's been there all day. The moon's been there all day. It's just where it's positioned in relation to where you are on the planet. It's just as the sun's starting to go down, it's just starting to appear, right? The atmosphere is getting dark enough to show the light being reflected off the moon, because the moon doesn't have its own light. It's just reflecting
Right,
sunlight off.
right. So you think that's just a different reflection then?
Well, it's all it is that it's been there the whole day. You just haven't seen it
Which is
until.
fine, except what happened is it was so extreme. Like the reflection was in the east, then it was in the west, and then overnight it was back to the middle again, and that's a big jolt. I don't know why we didn't fall over. Like right now, it's not even out. But you know that scientist, you know that Chinese scientist, his name is Machu Puru, whatever his name is. His name is Michu Katu. You know that guy?
Yukatu, no.
Yeah, he's that Chinese guy. Look, he was talking about energy. Hold on, because this is kind of like what you were saying. It was something really interesting. Hold on, it's this Chinese guy, Miku Katu. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I might hold on.
Hold on one second. I'm just gonna show you his picture, his face, and then you'll know. Right here. Right here. Okay. Right here. This guy right here. That guy.
Oh yeah, he's a pretty famous astrophysicist.
What's interesting is he was talking about something similar, not similar to what you're talking about, but he was talking about if there was such a thing as time travel. He said the energy it would take is beyond even what an atomic bomb would produce.
Well, correct.
He,
Alright,
he was,
so energy equals mass times the acceleration of the speed of light.
oh, you got a question for you. There's a question.
All right, shoot.
Here it is. So how do we have lunar eclipse? There's the question.
Lunar eclipse is the shadow of the Earth falling across the. So we only see one side of the moon. That's why we have a actual dark side of the moon, because the way that the Earth rotates is in pretty much in lockstep of the speed that the moon rotates around the planet. So we're always seeing the same side. So the way we get a lunar eclipse is basically it has to be the right angle where the shadow of the Earth actually falls across the surface of the moon, blocking out the sunlight. We're basically casting a shadow on the moon. That's what a lunar eclipse is. Whereas a solar eclipse is when the moon passes in front of the sun and temporarily blocks out the light of the sun. And in fact, that actually perfectly segues into what I was talking about, which is the theory of the Einstein's special theory of relativity. See, the way he proved this, or general theory of relativity rather. The way he proved this was Einstein theorized that, you know how I said earlier, anything that has mass bends what's called space-time, right? We tend to think of space and time as two separate concepts as humans, right? Because we think of time as a very linear, static thing, right? You go from point A to point B to point C to point D. Everything moves in a straight line at a constant speed. That's actually not true. There's 4 dimensions to the world that we live in, the universe we live
Ooh,
in.
I think I heard this before. This is good. Yeah.
It's height, depth, width, and time. So when we say space-time, where you can think of it as space in certain aspects, in certain ways, I'm just going to describe it to you, but it's also time is being meant as well, if that makes sense. So first of all, time travel is possible, not with the amount of energy that we have right now. It's not possible to the past, it's possible to the future. So it's what's called time dilation.
Oh, time dilation.
So the faster you move, the slower time moves for you relative to the rest of the world. So even getting up and walking across the room, time is actually moving slightly slower for you than somebody who's sitting down. Not to where we can distinguish it, because you're talking nanoseconds of difference, but the time is still different. Time is actually flowing differently for 2 people. So you can travel to the future if you could get enough energy. everyone's heard of E squared, right? It's the very famous Einstein equation. Stands for energy,
Right?
mass
Equal.
times the acceleration of the speed of light squared, mc squared. So basically what that says is the faster that something moves, the more energy it needs to keep it moving that fast and to get it to move faster. It exponentially, the amount of energy you need to keep moving that fast grows and grows and grows the faster you move, right? So that's why it takes twice as much gas to go 120 miles per hour to 60 miles per hour. It actually will take a little bit more than twice as much gas to do that because you're actually having to use energy to go twice as fast. It's exponentially growing the amount of energy that you need to keep going that fast. Now, stay with me here. If you were to get on a train that were to go 99.9% the speed of light, you can never reach the speed of light. That's another thing that the special theory of relativity says. It basically sets the cosmic speed limit at the speed of light. Nothing can go the speed of light because it would take an infinite amount of energy, and nothing can go faster than the speed of light. At least as far as we know so far, right? I could get into quarks and string theory and theoretical physics of how quarks might be moving faster than the speed of light, which could potentially punch huge holes in Einsteinian physics, but we won't get into that right now. So if you were to get on a train going 99.9% the speed of light, and you went on that train for 2 weeks and you got off, about 100 years will have passed to everybody else on Earth. Right? So if you were to get on today, it's 2021, 2 weeks will have passed by for you. You will biologically only age 2 weeks. It will feel like only 2 weeks on the train for you. But when you step off that train, it'll be 2121. Because that's called time dilation. Basically, the faster you're moving, the slower time will move for you because it's dilating time, right? The other way you can get time dilation is near something with a lot of mass. So like if you were to go next to a black hole and you were to orbit it, time would move half as fast for you as it would for people on Earth. So you orbit the black hole for a year, 2 years will have gone by on Earth. Right? And this isn't just a theory, we've actually proved this. So we've proved it in microseconds. Microseconds is about a 10,000th of a second. So satellites up in space, where there's less gravity, so less gravitational pull because it's further away from the core of the Earth, time is actually moving 3 microseconds faster up in by those satellites than it is down here on Earth. Now, you think that's a negligible difference, but if we didn't set the computers in those satellites to account for that time difference, GPS satellites would be wrong going out about 25 miles every day. So day 1, it would be off by about 25 miles, day 2, 50 miles, day 3, 75, and so on, if we didn't set to account for that difference. Now, going the opposite direction, the Great Pyramids of Giza have so much stone and so much mass there that there's actually a slightly bigger gravitational pull standing by the Pyramids of Giza that you have standing by the Pyramids of Giza than you do in the town of Giza itself. So they've actually measured.
Wait, so there's more energy by the pyramids than outside it? Say that again?
There's more gravity. There's more gravity by the pyramids.
Why? I wonder why. Why?
Because there's mass. So think of time, think of space-time like a sheet. So let's say you were to stretch out a sheet between two people, right?
Yeah.
And let's say you were to drop a tennis ball on one side of the sheet and a bowling ball on the other.
That's what Einstein was talking about, bending it.
Yeah. The bigger the mass is, it's going to bend it. But because, like I said, it's not just space that's being bent, it's time itself that's also being bent. That's why it's called space-time.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. There is one person that can make the time turn, and that's Superman when he spun around the planet really fast.
Oh, that one.
Remember?
Yeah,
I like
that
what you're saying, but I want to know, how do you go backwards? How do we go backwards in time?
you
That's
can't.
interesting.
You can't, and also that produces paradoxes. So, for
But they
example,
said the paradox sometimes won't work because it's
paradox
not
will
your paradox. Like,
paradox
you
will
can't go back
paradox.
and kill Hitler
Well,
because it's not your time. It's not. It's a different parallel, right?
all right, so let's look at the grandfather paradox for a minute. This is the most famous one. Let's
Okay.
say I decide I want to commit suicide, but I don't want to just commit suicide. I want to commit intergenerational suicide.
Okay.
And I have a time.
Happen.
So I decide to go back in time and kill my grandpa Joe before he ever meets my grandma Judy.
Right. 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 That's what that Chinese scientist was talking about. Go on. I
So
got them.
so let's say I go up to him, and this let's say I go up to him when he's 10 in 1937. I take a gun out and I shoot him in the head. I would therefore cease to exist. But if I cease to exist, who shot him in the first place?
Right.
Because I never existed. I was never born to
That's
go
right.
get in a time machine to go back
That's
in
right.
time to kill him in
Right.
the first place.
That's
Same
right.
thing, and the same thing with killing Hitler. Now you can stretch this out, and we can talk about the butterfly effect.
Right.
Everything is connected. So they say a butterfly effect. Butterfly flaps its wing in Brazil, and through a chain of events of interconnected things, of the butterfly flaps its wings and disturbs a thing of water. The water drops on a bug. The bug flies and bites me. Because it bites me, I forget to tie my shoe. Because I forget to tie my shoe, I trip and I break my neck and I die. Right? We'll do a simple one like that. Right? If that butterfly never flapped its wings, I would have never broken my neck and died, because all of those things had to happen in that particular order at that exact moment for
But you
that.
gotta back up. You gotta back up because what's really important is what you said. Like, you can't go back in time and shoot your grandfather, because therefore you would have never been born. So you gotta explain that. You see, because that's what's interesting that people don't understand. Like, you can't go back. You can't. It's not your. What's that word? Okay, it's paradox.
Yeah, it's a paradox. You would have never existed in the first place.
Right. It's who did the egg come first or the chicken? That thing. You
Well,
know.
actually, I can, from an evolutionary standpoint, the egg came first, because the chicken is just nothing more than a mutant variation of the bird that
Let's
came before.
go back to time travel. Let's go back to time travel. That's good. But how do we go back in time instead of future?
It's
So you're
not.
talking about
It's not.
going on a train 99 miles an hour
That's
and
how you. That's how you travel. That's the only time travel that's possible, is to travel in the future, and that's
what about
using.
the bend in space? What about the hole? What about a veil? What about the portal? What about those things?
Those are all just imagination of the human brain, and
That's
that's
true. I
also
have photos of it.
that. Okay, there's black holes. The thing is, black holes are not
Let me tell
time.
you something really quick. Okay, listen. I have a picture that I took 1 year ago, and I went to snap the picture, and my phone froze. And then I went through when I got home. In this picture, I don't think you know this, but in this picture, I have like a futuristic person with a helmet and his earpiece. I have an 1800s couple. I have a Bigfoot. All in this one picture. I have a little Farmer John in a boat. You guys have seen bits and pieces, but it's a full on picture. Like, I don't know. I mean, I know maybe it's too much for you because you're a scientist, but it's like there are some things that are unexplainable, and I have like a lot of proof. This picture is undeniable what happened, and there was energy. That something happened with energy. Now let me back up. Maybe you'll understand this. My first picture I took was in 2019. I went to go touch they were building. There was all those towers up for the radio, for cell towers. Okay, I was at the top of the mountain, 4,500 elevation, and it said, do not touch too much radiation, blah blah blah. I don't think anybody really knows this part of the story. I was laughing and I touched it. Then, within 10 minutes, I took a picture of a full-on video of the prom queen ghost. It was heavy. Ever since then, I don't know if it's possible. Like, can I be a conductor of some kind? Because I don't know if you've seen any of my pictures, but they're undeniable. Like, it's not pareidolia. So I'm wondering, I like everything you're saying and you're intelligent, but I'm wondering if you can go a little step further into the maybes. You have
Well,
any theories?
the theory that I have for that is one that's shared by a lot of astrophysics theorists, and that's that of the multiverse. So we say universe, but really there is not a una meaning one. There's not
Right.
a universe. What you have is an infinite amount of multiverses, an infinite
See?
amount of possibilities that could have happened, that have happened in other universes. It could be something as simple as my mother smokes menthols instead of reds. I'm wearing a blue t-shirt right now instead of a black t-shirt. Or it could be something as radical as I don't exist in an infinite amount of these multiverses. You don't exist.
Parallel.
Yeah, parallel. That's what you call the multiverses, parallel universes. Now you could have gotten a glimpse across that, and a lot of
Positively.
a lot of
Positively. You need wait, before I know you're smart, but you have to understand who you're talking to. It's like it's like talking to, you're the scientist and I'm the guinea pig and I'm right in front of you. I'm telling you. Like, we call it different universes. We don't know what to call it, right? But you nailed it, dude. You nailed it. It's multi-universes, because this is some of the theories that I have when you see some of these things that I've seen and I've shown people, you can see in one snapshot. Like 2 weeks ago, I just took a picture of a hole in live on video, a hole. Like, it's definitely a hole open up. It's impossible for an oak tree to have a perfect hole. You can see the rim, and inside it, some things are in. And I feel that what I'm seeing is like, it's like a reflection, if you will, to another universe. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not here, but
no, but
sometimes, but they looked right at me too. So I'm really, but anyways, you coined it, multi-universe. Go on. I love that word.
so it's you could have it could have been a window if they looked at you. It's not all windows are one-way mirrors. They could have probably seen back. A
Yeah.
lot of astrophysicists, Stephen Hawking actually believed that had a theory that black holes because so the way you think of our universe had started was an infinitely small, infinitely dense, infinitely hot speck that then rapidly expanded outward. That's what we call the Big Bang.
Right.
Um, Now, what do you get when you reverse that? You get a black hole. You get in the center of a black hole is the point of singularity, an infinitely dense, infinitely hot, infinitely small point where all the matter that's been sucked into that black hole goes. Now, he had a theory that on the other side of that black hole is another universe that is being.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
as far as time travel into the past goes, that I don't think, and so far as we know in physics, does not exist. To the future, yes. And I think the reason why we, as human beings, and I'm going to get a little philosophic here, why human beings constantly obsess about time travel to the past is it speaks to a more personal level. I mean, everybody has, at one point in their life, made a decision that they've regretted, or they think, what if I had done this instead of this? What if I had, invested in this stock? And everyone always makes the joke, hey, I wish I could go back to the early 2000s, invest in Google, I'd be a millionaire right now.
Yeah, but you know what? Look,
But
I
I think
watched
that's
that.
why
Did you
about
watch that Star Trek? The Star Trek one where Kurt and Spock went to the 1930s? I mean, anyways, for sure, I'm going to tell you, whether you believe it or not, some of the holes and some of the video and some of the stuff I've taken, I can see through it and I can see other things, like it's a different universe for sure. So it's, but the past is interesting, but I'm not sure okay, if I can see in a portal picture that I'm taking, if I can see, and I've shown you guys, if I can see the hole and I can see through it, different creatures or human-like creatures, right? If I can see that, then who's to say that portal hole energy isn't connected to the past too? It could be the past and the future. Do you think?
no,
It could be.
the reason I think, because here's the thing also, we think of time in our universe, right? So like let's say when you look through the hole, you said you saw somebody that looked like they were from the 1800s. Well, in that other universe, that could be what people, where technology and clothing has advanced to in
Exactly. Exactly.
it could be that
Exactly.
the
They could
industrial
be on a different time level too, and that's their in thing. I don't know.
I don't, like I said, I hold fast that time travel to the past is not possible.
Well, I mean, can I ask you a question? Me and Nana one time we were going down uh Route 2, like going past like where the West Vine Street School and stuff is.
Yeah.
There was a clear, we saw it. Me and Nana saw it, but Michelle didn't see it. She was in the back seat. And it was like, probably, it wasn't even, it was like daytime. And a pair of legs went running across the road. Like, we saw it. It wasn't an animal.
Well,
it was
now
like
you
a
get
pair of fucking legs. That's all you saw.
well, now you get into what
Like
human
another
being.
dimension type
Well,
of
yeah.
shit.
Well, here's the thing. So if we were to, so this gets into whole dimensions, right? So it's been theorized that there are universes that exist in 2 dimensions, right? So that they are 2 physical dimensions. Let's exclude time and just think of dimensions as we would normally think of them. So instead of having height, width, and depth, they just have height and width. So like a side scroller video game, right? How would it appear if a 3D person appeared into that 2 dimensional video game? You would only catch a glimpse of us, right? You'd only catch a cross section of us because we are not built to exist in that reality.
Tron.
So you could have four-dimensional beings, fifth-dimensional beings who are crossing into this plane of existence, who exist in 4 and 5 dimensions, where time is an actual physical thing. They can actually physically manipulate time with their hands. That we
Here's
don't.
the picture. Here's part of the picture. I'm only going to show you part of the picture that I snapped when it was the second picture when my phone fried, and you can see several different type of things in this, like this guy flying through. This is not a very good one, but this is only part of the picture. Here's a face, but there's just so much going on. There's a guy over here. It's crazy.
Some people would say, like, I can see it, but some people would be like, oh, that's just pareidolia.
I know. That's okay because I have other pictures that are crystal clear in 4K. You know what I mean? So
Well,
it's
and
but that's okay.
I try not to discount everything as pareidolia. I do understand that the human brain does have a habit of recognizing patterns. That's why we, for example, a lot of people don't realize this, but a lot of our animals, so for example, cats can, but dogs cannot, or some breeds of dogs, sorry. Some breeds of dogs cannot, and all cats can watch a television and see a full picture. There are some breeds of dogs that actually look at the screen and all they see is a bunch of colored dots. The reason being, there is a part of our brain that is wired to take all the information around us and organize it into a comprehensive picture that our brain understands. However, that being said, I don't dismiss everything out of hand as pareidolia. I do believe that there are certain things that we have yet to explain with science. For example, there have been self-hauntings that they found, believe it or not. So, for example, there was a couple that lived in a trailer that was on a very highly magnetic area of land, highly magnetized area of land. And at first they thought they were being haunted. They thought they had paranormal activity going on because they would hear footsteps, doors would open and close, you wouldn't see anybody, but you would definitely hear it. And outside people would come in the house, they'd hear the same shit.
Okay, what do you think of this pareidolia? What do you think of this guy right here sticking his tongue out at me?
Maybe. But
What do you think? What do you think of this? His pitchfork right here, made out of metal.
again,
What do you
again,
think? What do you think of this guy right here and his little claw fingers? This guy right here is a video, FYI, okay? he sticks his tongue out and then he sticks it back in and he turns his head.
Could be another dimensional being. Could be
Exactly.
another.
I just wanted to share with you a little one that's a little bit more clear and not pareidolia. You know what I mean? Just
As
for your
far
own.
as far as the self-haunting goes, so one day the husband actually saw himself, like a ghost of himself, walk by, and it's led some scientists to speculate.
Doppelganger.
Well, no, not doppelganger. Like literally walk through. Like they'd had renovations on the house, and he said it walked through a wall where the wall didn't used to be.
Right.
So
But wait,
led some
before you finish, somebody's asking you some questions. Okay, here's a question for you, okay?
all right, shoot.
So you know that a lot of us investigate Bigfoot, right? So the question they have for you is, where do you think the wood structures come from? You know we're talking about how the Bigfoots, they take all these sticks and they make like teepees in the middle of nowhere, and then they're gone the next day. Do you know about that?
I've heard about it. Cryptozoology is an interesting field of study. I believe that a lot of things that were thought to not exist by the mainstream scientific community, such as the giant python, for a while was thought not to exist and thought to be a myth. It was actually proven.
Here's something for you. So here's something somebody said about you. They said you would make a good scientist. You explain it very well.
Actually, I want to go to college to actually be a teacher and either, like I
Here's
said,
something in regards to your ghost hunting. Ready? Self-hunting. You're talking about somebody seeing himself because it's a past him. Could be reincarnation. Could be he's seen in the future or past. You're self-hunting. Here's a question for you. Adonis said she physically saw people who were not there walking around her property in Alabama. So there's one.
yeah. So
Like self-hunting.
the point I was getting at is, so it's led some scientists to speculate that our brain is a big radio, right? It does cast off radio waves. We call them alpha waves, beta waves, delta
Yep.
waves. Right? That's how they can figure out in the hospital if somebody's brain dead, because their brain is no longer producing those waves that are being cast out and can be picked up by machines. Now, what it's led some scientists to speculate is that highly magnetized areas can leave an imprint behind of the person. So the reason why I was calling it a self-haunting was because a lot of scientists speculated that they were seeing themselves. They were seeing an past imprint of their brain activity of themselves that was locked to the land because it was highly magnetized. And a lot of the times where they have a lot of supernatural events happening are highly magnetized areas. They've been finding a big correlation. Now, correlation does not mean causality. That's a big thing that's always stressed in the scientific community. One must not mistake correlation for causality. But it would stand to reason that there is some sort of correlation between highly magnetized areas and leaving an imprint of yourself behind, what we would call ghosts or spirits. And
what I was trying to explain to you when I touched the radio towers, and this area is the Nike base where there's still the missile launch pad is intact. And I know for a fact there's a ton of energy there. And there's just so many triangular things that happen in this location. Like the picture I showed you where the past, present, future. Well, you didn't see the full picture, but trust me, it's 4K. So these areas that I go to, it's not by accident. I'm not walking in the wash and snapping a picture. There's a method to my madness. There's energy where I'm taking a lot of my photos. It's old military stomp grounds and underground shit, which is, I believe it has to do with it enhances the ability to do this because of the energy, like what you're talking about. I just want to tell you hopefully it'll resonate that what you're saying is scientifically correct, but I'm telling you as a paranormal investigator that it's absolutely happening because of energy. Places are highly energetic. Like, look, they're not putting a Nike base, a missile launch from 1945. They're not putting this 48. they're not putting this missile launch in the middle of nowhere for no reason. There's some triangular effects there too. They're not dumb. Like it's much deeper than I think. But I want to just tell you that as a paranormal investigator, I can back up what you're saying scientifically, FYI. So you're dead on.
Yeah, and the thing is about so we could also go into they've done experiments where they wanted to see if human beings through just their observation could affect their environment around them, right? So if our brain activity actually affected our immediate area. So what they did was they fired light through these slots, right? Because they wanted to see, because light can both act as a particle and a beam, right? So they wanted to see if unobserved light would act differently than observed light. And come to find out, and they've reproduced the study over and over again, we actually do affect our environment just based with our brain waves and what, Eastern medicine would call, our chi, or, Western philosophy would call, energy, negative energy, positive energy. We actually affect it with our brain waves. So light tended to act more like a particle when it was being observed by human beings, and more like a beam when it was not being observed. And they've done this with plants too. They found that plants and snow crystals, they found that snow crystals that are given negative labels, that are screamed at, that are around constantly angry people, form these very half-assed, ugly crystals.
That's interesting.
As opposed to the ones that are, and they had a control group, one that was not observed at all, and they found the one that was not observed at all, it was like a 50-50. Some of them formed half-assed, some of them formed, very beautiful crystals. And the ones that were given positive labels were around constantly upbeat people, were talked to gently and softly and given love and care. They actually formed very beautiful, fully formed crystals. So what it goes to show is that, yes, we do leave imprints into our environment. And I think that areas where mass negative energy has happened, and this has also been, circling back to our first conversation, this has been adapted in the Star Wars canon, right? They're what's called, in the Star Wars universe, wounds in the Force. So basically places where catastrophic events have happened leave a constant negative energy that clings to the area, right? And I'm sure you can attest to this as a paranormal investigator, places where traumatic events have happened repeatedly over and over again tend to attract higher paranormal activity. And that's scientifically, at least from what we've been gathering in Western science lately, what we've been gathering is we do leave imprints on our environment long after we're gone.
Exactly. Like the location that I told you that I took the picture, that was the past, present, 1800s lady in a future. This location this location was an old mining location, so maybe that was the imprint of the 1800s people that lived there. And then I took a picture of the Axeman, an old miner. A lot of people seen it. There was a miner, and I did the homework, and I found actually an article clipping and a picture of a miner, and everybody knows I call him the Axeman. He's clear as a bell, the axe. And I've taken his picture in this location 3 times. So I do believe that energy imprint is left in locations, and some energies, some places have higher amount of energies and magnetic and something, and they all can. It's like a elevator, and they're still in that slot, the past, present, future. I think that what you're saying is a lot of stuff that we talk about, and I know for a fact, I know what I'm doing, and I know that some of my theories, and I'm not just going out and saying, oh, there's a ghost. You know what I mean? I'm doing homework to back up. It's not pareidolia. What's the common denominator? And I feel like some energy locations are a hotspot. Let's just say, like, like Star Trek. Remember the portal? Remember they would go get in the transporter. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but some of these spots. I mean, I see different things in some spots that are more highly active because I believe it's energy or it's something.
Yeah, well,
Um,
and again, not to equate everything to Star Wars, but the reason George Lucas developed the dark side and the light side of the Force based around emotions is because if you think about it, right? So the way, if you get deeper into the Star Wars lore, most people don't go dive as deep as I do.
I never did. I'm so amazed that I didn't even think of all this. It's great.
If you're talking, so in the Star Wars canon, the how we use BC and AD, they use what's called BBY and ABY, which is before the Battle of Yavin and after the Battle of Yavin. So like the first Star Wars movie took place during the Battle of Yavin, so it's basically how far away in years is it from the original movie. Um, so you're talking thousands of years before the original movie, when there were a lot of Darksiders around and Sith Lords around, not just two, the Darth Vader and the Emperor, but there were armies of dark side users. They would describe the dark side versus the light side as like a roaring fire. It was very powerful. You could tell it was powerful. And dark side's based around negative emotions like anger, sadness, hatred. Very passionate, high energy emotions. Whereas the light side's based around happiness, serenity, you know, calmness, being one with yourself in the universe.
Right.
And George Lucas did that in part because we as human beings know that certain emotional things leave larger imprints. So I tend to think that areas that have had more negative things happen in them over the years tend to leave a higher imprint of energy.
Definitely. Because that would be, to me, that would be more like, I know it doesn't make sense, but to me, it's more like dark energy. Like dark is heavy, like it's heavier. And like somebody just asked you a question, I posted it up. They're asking you about light beam. They're asking what would cause beams of light coming down, and some of them are moving wavery like around at times. That was a question to you.
Ask that one more time. So I got the first part of beams of light
What
coming down.
causes beams of light coming down, and some of them moving waverly like around at times?
Oh, wavy. Like, um, that goes back to light being a beam or a particle. It can act as both. Um, so white light is made up of all of the colors of the spectrum. So the reason why we get rainbows when it rains, or sometimes when it rains, or why Pink Floyd has the prism with the white light being refracted, is because there's different wavelengths to each color of light. So light does have a wavelength frequency. So lower wavelengths are colors like red and infrared. Infa being Latin for below, right? So when Isaac Newton figured out that white light could refract into the different colors of the spectrum of the rainbow, he found that just below red there was an area of heat but no color, right? So he found that there was absolutely no color there, but you could feel heat, and that's what we have infrared. And the higher the wavelength of light, so the closer the waves are together, the more you go up the color spectrum until you get to violet being the top of the visible spectrum, right? That's why the rainbow starts at red, goes through all the way to purple, and that's why we have ultraviolet light, right? Ultra meaning above violet, so we can't actually see the ultraviolet rays that are coming down because the wavelengths are too small for the human eye to capture, but they're there. So the reason why they act in waves as opposed to particles, again, that still hasn't really been figured out by astrophysicists. Again, we think that it just has to do with observation and interaction with its environment, but the reason why this always confused astrophysicists at first back in the 1920s was because we thought it either had to be a beam or a particle. Things could either be this or they could be that. They couldn't be both at the same time. And what we ended up with was basically a Schrodinger's cat kind of situation. Have you ever heard of the mind exercise of Schrodinger's cat? Hello?
Oh, she left. Her thing cut out.
Huh.
She's coming back. I think. Yeah, that's what happened. Her
Sorry,
screen.
I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here.
Oh no, that's fine. Yeah. So
Sorry.
have you have you ever heard of Schrodinger's cat?
Yeah, the answer is no.
All right. So Schrodinger's cat is a mind exercise. So you come to a box and you know there's a cat inside of it, right?
Okay.
Cat's not moving, but it could be alive or it could be dead. Which is it? Without opening the box, which is it?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's neither and it's both.
Right.
Because you can't establish until you open that box whether the cat's alive or dead. At that very moment, it is both alive and dead, and is neither alive nor dead. So that's why I said we kind of ended up with a Schrodinger's cat kind of situation when it comes to light, whether it's a beam or a particle. To sum it up, it's both and it's neither at the same time. I know that doesn't really jive well with human logic, but that's the best way I can describe it.
I can tell you that I have a picture, and I won't be able to find it fast enough. I have a picture of light bending. It's amazing. It's the beam of light is going into this big tree, and there's clearly you'll see it's a being with not a being. It's like a human with glasses on, and the light is coming in and it bends. It's amazing. It's like there's some trippy shit that's coming to the surface. It's amazing lately. But there's another question for you. Hold on. But there's something I never knew that you were just describing is I didn't know the closer the light is, the color of the spectrum. That's interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's like when it's also sound acts in the same way, just at a slower rate than come on, cat.
See,
sorry.
you're just talking about that poor cat.
Yeah, my mom clawed me in the shoulder.
Okay, I found it.
So sound kind of acts in the same way but slower. So you hit a note. Let's say you hit a C. I'm a musician too, by the way. If you hit like a C1 on a piano, which is like one of the lower Cs on a piano, it has a lower sound because the wave crests are further apart. As you go up the piano, the wave crests get closer and closer and closer together, and the pitch gets higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. Mm-hmm. In fact, that's how we can tell from far away the makeup of certain stars, because we can actually tell by the sound that they make based on their wavelength.
Okay, let me share something with you. Hold on. Video. Hold on. I hit the wrong button. I want to share something with you. This is some of my some of my paranormal stuff, right? That I just recently took. I said the wrong word. What?
My mom asked if that was a Freudian slip.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's just, like everybody, I've just had a freaking crazy, really crazy week. Hold on one second. Let me fix this. Okay. Okay. All right. Here I am. Okay. So here is something I wanted to share. I don't know why. Okay. Here we go. I'm just 1 second because I don't know why. I found it. Never mind. I got it. Here we go. So, are you guys there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So here's some pareidolia. Oh shit! Fucking helicopter every single time. Now, like, just bear with me. I just took this a couple days ago. I don't know, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. Okay. Anyways, I can't remember because I just anytime I want, I take a picture and I catch something. But right here, this is clearly like he's coming through, and you can see the face, and he's wearing glasses. I can't fix.
Yeah, no, I can see what you're
Okay, good. So let me go to another one. It's kind of trippy. Hold on. I'm sorry, you guys, because I'm doing this from my laptop sitting outside. So this one is kind of hard, but you have to understand what I'm trying to show you, what I see. And this is the veil, like they come through, like they're visible for a minute. They can, like, they pierce through like it's a balloon, right? Like here, it looks like an animal's face right here, and remember what we're dealing with here. It's not normal, and we can't, we don't have the technology that NASA has, right? But
Like, you see
anyway,
it, and then when you take the picture, it's kind of blurry. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, so it's kind of like, because we don't have the technology because we only see 1%. And so if we had, it's hard. It's like, what was it he said earlier? Like, we can't, there's some things. Remember, I was talking about, he was talking about dark matters, and he was saying some
it's on
things you can,
when it's
remember?
matter we can actually detect his actual detect.
Exactly. That's what we're dealing with here. This
Also,
was
you're
the,
also limited by the human brain because you also have to remember the human brain is basically a
this
big.
is the, but this is the one I wanted to share with you guys that I haven't been able to because it's been so long. This one's going to be hard to see, but I see it. I want to just bear with me because I needed to share this with you guys because haven't been able to share this yet. But let me see if I can. I don't know why. Oh, here we go. Ah, shit. Just bear with me because this one is something special. Let me get rid of this post. Okay. This one's going to be very hard to see, but I need to share it with everyone that this right here is a person. Okay. And there's his hand and there's his sleeve, but you can see his face right here, his mouth, his nose, his eyes. This is at a cemetery. Okay. This is a cemetery. He's like floating right here. This one, I see this guy a lot where his mouth is open, but I'm not sure if it's him or them. It's almost like, ugh, he looks like Fred Flintstone. Anyways, maybe, they do a lot. They look like Fred Flintstone. Uh, but there's just something. Okay, now look at this
I'm
freaking.
not laughing at
You
you.
have,
I'm just laughing like you said
you
it.
gotta understand that this is not. Some of this is not worldly things. Okay, this guy's right here.
I
It's
always
too
wondered.
hard.
I always wondered how friction never slowed down Fred Flintstone's car as a kid. Because he always starts it up by doing like the feet wagging thing, but then it'll just go for miles and miles like he's pushing on a gas pedal. And I never understood that. I
So
get
it's
it.
gonna be a little bit hard to see, but you'll see this creature right here because this is a video, so there's stills, right? There's a creature right here. There's his arm, his nose, his mouth is right there, right? Just bear with me for a second. Look at the eyes if you believe me. There's an eye that's white, an eye that's shut. Then the next still, his eyes are open. Right here. Boom, boom. They're open. They're
I
both
see.
black now. You guys see it? It's hard to
Yeah.
see, but it's a video. So now, a minute ago, I just showed you one eye was white and one eye was half open. Remember, just think of it like spirits. So here it is back again. Let me go back. See, the eye is shut, lid is shutting. This is a still from a bad video, but I haven't been able to share this stuff.
I got my phone going and I got the laptop going, so it's one is ahead of the other.
Oh, isn't that funny?
Yeah,
Um,
they're going at the same time, but one's ahead of the other. You know what I mean? Like when you talk, you've already said it, so
but
then it'll.
this guy's kind of cool because This one, the first one we looked at, because you can literally see him starting to come through. I mean, he's like materializing right there. I mean, it's like his head is popping through. Anyways, this is just something I took the other day, but I wanted to show you the circle, but I can't find it fast enough. Let's go back and see what people are asking you. There's one right here too. His two eyes. Remember, there's a full video, but these are just stills.
Right.
God damn, this guy, I wish you guys could just see for 1 second. He's right here. I know this creature. Right here. His eyes are open and boom. One is shut and one is, I don't know, white.
It looks like a cluster of faces.
Well, yeah, there is a lot, but when you see one, they come through. But right here, this face, he's like, I can see him. I know it's disgusting. I know this creature. See his eyes? And then,
Yeah, I
boom.
see it.
And then now you see his eyes different because it's part of a still. So the full video, he's moving. Ugh. Okay, let's get back to basics. Let's see what people are saying. Let's get back to our conversation.
Well,
Okay,
I had it on full screen.
So one of the things with the creatures that I am able to capture is if you do it too big, it's worse. That's the problem. Because it's okay, you see him? Yeah, we see him. Okay, good, Donna.
Yeah.
All right. There's these aren't the clear ones, but these are just something. I was trying to find him the hole. I want him to see the portal, but we'll move on. Move on.
So where's she something, the Polish guy.
Shamana.
Shamana, yeah.
Yeah, so the problem is right now it's like 5 a.m. his time, so and he asked me, I promised him that we would do a live during the day, so then it'll be like his nighttime.
Oh, okay.
But
Well, I'm home. I'm not working right now because I'm disabled at the moment.
What I would like to do is with this StreamYard, I would like for you to get your son to put together a presentation and then come on live and he can share the screen and talk to us. What do you think of that idea?
You'd have to ask him that. I can't hear.
I'd be fine on that. What subject would you like to cover?
Well, here, come over here and talk. You're far away from the phone.
We could do philosophy. We could do astrophysics. We could do history. Do math, biology.
Well,
what do you guys?
What is it that you want him to do? What specific general? I can't think of the word. I got a brain fart.
I know. I want everyone to anybody on tell us what you would like him to come on and discuss. I mean, for me,
well, something that's going to show attention because you don't want people going away saying, "Oh God, Jesus, this is boring." You know, it is. You know, some people like weren't into school. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't into it, so that's probably why I'm not a fucking genius with a lot of stuff. There's things that I'm a genius at, and there's things that I'm totally fucking dumb. Okay. You know, can you say coin the phrase "dumb blonde"? You know.
Okay, so let's think about it. Here we go. Here's the answer right here. So Donna is suggesting multi-universe and dimensions. I like that one. And no, Marcus, I don't think he's the guy for that. I think we should talk about the multi-universe and dimensions. I think that is perfect. That would go right in line with some of the things, you know, that we discuss all the time. I mean, I know that there is, I think multi-universe.
Well, what was it that Marcus asked for?
He wants him to research Bigfoot.
Oh, okay, because I had it on big screen, so I couldn't see what anybody was typing.
We could do cryptozoology.
We could do, yeah, you say we can do cryptozoology if you want.
It's an interesting field, like I said. There have been stuff that the mainstream.
He's not like a total, like he's not a fucking, what's his name there, the black dude. What's his name? Yeah, Tyson there. He's not like a total fucking moron. Not moron, but like kind of like a
I'm not closed-minded.
Yeah, like closed-minded and
Well,
like
no,
kind of like you know how he is. You've seen him before, Neil.
well, yeah,
He's
I'm not. I mean, look, if he wants to talk about cryptozoology, that's fine. That might have been a wore out subject. I would prefer the multi-universe and dimensions, to be honest with you,
oh,
because
all right. Well,
I mean, but
that's up to
it's
you guys.
well, just prepare both and tell me what you come up with, and then let's figure out a time and we'll go live.
Well, we could
We'll
do
market
like a
it.
little of everything, right?
Yeah, do both. Have a little bit of everything prepared. Okay. He's not a Sheldon. Somebody said
Yeah, but
he's
the
not
thing is,
Sheldon.
though, he works nights though sometimes too, so it's not always feasible. Because like, he works, I don't work right now. I'm unemployed. I'm trying to get a disability case. I got a lawyer and everything because I broke my femur bone in two places.
That's a good one, Marcus. What about the flat Earth? What about that one?
Oh, the flat Earth theory.
That's I don't go that far into it. That's been so debunked. That one I won't touch with it.
I personally think you should just put a little bit together of the multi-universe dimensions. That's my favorite, and maybe a little bit of a crypto, and see what you come up with, and then we could play it by ear. You can have it prepared,
Dog man.
That works.
and then
Look it up.
just oh yeah, everyone is saying, and thank you very much for your time tonight. Everyone is
Anytime.
thanking you.
I love a good discussion.
So I'm gonna do something right now. I'm gonna put my email in here so you can email me, and then we'll coordinate a time and everything. The
Well, if
subject.
you want to, you can send it to me in your Facebook in the messenger,
Well,
and I
right
can
now,
give it
okay,
to
I'll
you.
do that. So send it to me too, but I put it up there right there. Cheat Garbo
Yeah.
114. So let's do
Oh,
that.
okay.
Let's prepare. We can do one during the day, you guys. Who cares?
Right. Well, like I said, I don't know what he's got planned. Like I don't know because he sometimes works during the day or sometimes he works at night.
What day are we?
Yeah,
So
what
that's
day?
just it. I want you guys to email me and let's put
Yeah,
together a
she
time
said
and a day.
email her.
Okay, all right. Because I have Friday off, so Friday all day would work.
That might be good. That might be really good. So email me and let's coordinate it. We'll figure out a subject, and you put together a little a little I can't spit it out right now. A little I can't spit it out.
Presentation.
A presentation.
Presentation. And then when you come on under your mom's name, then you're going to be able to do a screen share, okay? So have the files and everything you want to talk about ready, right?
Now, how do you do the screen share thing?
So at the bottom of your if you're on the laptop, it's better. If you're at the bottom, it'll say mic, cam, more. It'll say screen share. Do you see it down there?
I see Mike, Cam, Mike, chat, and leave. That's a
Well, there might be something that says more. Do you see that?
no. There's nothing on there that says more. For real.
Well, let me
I'm
check.
I'm I'm not kidding you, man. I mean, I'm serious. I'm on my
No, I'm
phone. I'm
right
looking
here.
at it
Hold
on my
on.
phone, and I have you on the
Hold on.
laptop thing. You
The
know what I mean?
laptop. You should be able to screen share. Hold on. Let me log on really quick, and I'll see what I see. Okay.
All
So if
right.
I log on.
Well, maybe because I logged on. Wow.
Hold
I
on.
have feedback.
Okay,
No,
got
I
it.
was saying that maybe because I logged on StreamYard on my phone, I didn't do it on my
Yeah,
laptop.
it has to be on the laptop, guys. So at the laptop, you're going to see at the bottom, it'll say mute, cam, share at the bottom. There would be a line of
Share
things
screen. Okay.
on your laptop. And then at the bottom, it'll say screen share. And then
Did
we'll go
somebody
over.
just walk by you?
What? No. What the fuck?
I don't know. It looked like something just passed by you or something.
God damn it.
That's weird.
What the?
I just seen that. I thought maybe it was your mom or something or a roommate. I don't know.
Dude, I live alone.
But it looked like it walked like right in front of you. Unless, did you move your arm? Do you have something in your arm or something? I don't know.
No.
It was weird. It looked like a sleeve or something, like an arm and a sleeve. That's why I
God
thought
damn
somebody
it.
walked by you.
paranormal. So anyways, so let's plan it. Me and you, I want you to email. It's going to be great. Yes, Marcus. So I'll post it ahead of time when we figure out a time, you guys, right? I'll post it ahead
Mhm.
of time so everyone knows. We'll do it during the day on Friday.
I was
Let's
gonna
figure
say
out.
we could do it during the day. That way we can have what's his name? Damien.
Shaman, yeah, Damien.
His name is Damien too. Okay,
Yeah, I like to call him Shaman because it's a game we play.
Shaman. Is
Okay,
that kind of like Dungeons and Dragons or something?
I don't know. He was trying to be like I'm the shaman, I'm the leader, I'm the best or something.
Oh, okay. I got it. I got it.
Okay,
Boss,
so
whatever.
please email me, both of you guys, and we'll figure out a time, and then I can I'll post it ahead of time so everybody will know to be ready. Okay,
All right.
and then we'll coordinate a time and a subject. We already have an idea, but start
Yeah,
doing
because
some homework.
I would have said it, sent him an invite on Facebook, but he doesn't barely go on that. He doesn't really go on it that much. Brush, brush your hair.
So he can show his
Oh,
face.
oh, him. Well, I was gonna say I don't care if I show my face. I just put the picture up there because it's dark in here. I have lights. I don't like bright lights in my eyes and shit. I really don't. I have very sensitive eyes to bright light. I'm kind of like a fucking vampire. Let's put it that way. For real. I don't mean like I suck blood and shit. I'm just saying I don't like a lot. That's why I don't like in the hospital when they have all those bright lights on you. I don't like that. I don't like that shit. That's a totally different light when people say, "Oh, go towards the light." That's a totally different. If you believe whatever, I'm just saying that the light that like during the day I have to wear dark sunglasses and at night I have to have it like either ambiance. I can have the kitchen light on, I'm fine. I don't like my every light on, like right in my eyes. I don't like that shit.
Yeah.
That's why I would never get a place that has all wide open windows with like no blinds and I'm like, I am not a cockadoodle doo. I'm not a morning person. I never have been. So, and it's like almost 2 o'clock in the morning, my time. I'm wide awake. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'll be up during the day too, but I mean, it's just a different scene for me. I just can't do mornings. I don't like jobs where you got to get up at the crack of dawn and who the fuck is awake? You know what I
Not
mean? Like,
me.
really, you're like on autopilot.
Yeah, not me. I'm a night owl.
Well,
So
I'm the same. So,
coordinate a time and then if you want a picture so I can post it and the subject and do a presentation and we'll come on 10 minutes early before we start the show and you could practice how to do the screen share, okay?
yeah, well, like you watch Thinker Thunker.
Yeah.
All right, I watched him for years. Like when I lived in Ogdensburg with this weirdo that I was dating, and he got me into it, and I was watching him and stuff. But I mean, I'm on my old account. I have two YouTube accounts. The other one, I don't remember the password. I forgot it.
Yeah.
So I was like, screw it. I don't even want to go through that bullshit of getting new emails and all that crap. So, anyways, the one that I have now, because before I had him on my old account, and then I just because I remember you talking about him, you had brought him up, Thinker Thunker, and I was like, I totally forgot about him.
Yeah.
I went and I resubscribed to him in this channel. So, dude, I used to have a lot of subscribers on my old account, like had subscribed to me. Like I had over like 500.
Like the problem with Thinker Thunker, if you want my personal opinion, is that
Uh-huh.
he used to do a lot of analyzing. Is that
Yeah,
Bigfoot? Is that it?
like
Is that his
debunking.
arm? But now we're on a different wave now. We're on a different level of dimensional stuff, and he can't really. There's nothing to break down. There's no video of a Bigfoot running across the grass at, the Veterans Day Memorial Day parade. Like it's got to be hard because that's what he was good at. Is him and
Yeah.
Bigfoot Tony? They would break it down and slow it down and zoom in.
Yeah, like they
And
would talk about the length of the arm, being like the way the stride, the big long strides that
yeah,
the Sasquatch has or whatever, you know.
yeah,
Like I know what you're talking about because I've seen like a lot of his videos, like what other people would
yeah,
post and he would like analyze them and stuff.
Right.
You
Because
know,
now, because he doesn't have pictures per se like me or Carpenter. He would break down other people's stuff, and that was great. But now we're on a different thing.
do you remember that guy from like I don't know, he was either Dutch or something, and he was talking. There was this like creature in this park that they caught, like was like hiding behind a tree or something. It was like over in Europe,
Yeah, I
and
don't remember.
he used to like post that video and talk about it, and some woman was involved in it, and then all of a sudden you didn't see it. I don't see his channel anymore. Like it's gone. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
remember in the old days when we get knocked off by YouTube because we're talking about stuff that they don't want us to educate the world. Now, if you mention what happened November 3rd, oh, you're gone. Like everyone's
Yeah.
gone now. So those were the days when you could still,
Yeah,
you
you could like post stuff and nothing was, what is it, monetized, demonetized, or whatever.
know.
You know,
Yeah.
like Stoner's always getting kicked. His shit's always getting canceled or something. You know, because he'll
Well,
play like
he's funny. He's
copyright
pushing.
music and shit. You know.
Yeah, but he does push it. He sits there and smokes pot and drinks beer. He's so
I
funny.
don't think they care about that because there's another dude, small town, smoking with small town. He does weed reviews. You know what I mean?
Um,
But after the stream is done, he what do you call it? Like cancels it where it doesn't repost. Like yours reposted when the night that you and Damian were talking. The guy, the Polish guy. Remember you
yeah,
had that up. You
yeah.
had you didn't delete it. Stoner deletes his videos. Every time he does his streams, his videos, he deletes them. You know, the live stuff, he'll delete it. He
Well,
doesn't replay it. You can't replay it.
I'm gonna be seeing him in a week.
So what are you
So
gonna do? So you're gonna go down there and hang out with Izzy and them?
yeah, we're all going to Spawn Ranch. Yeah, the party.
Lucky you.
hmm
Lucky
I'll
you,
film it.
man.
I'll film it.
No, yeah, because I'm here in Connecticut. Like I'm here in Mystic. Like there's no fucking way. And there's no way with my leg being the way it is, and I'm going through physical therapy and shit right now. There's no way I'd be hiking them trails. No way.
Oh yeah, no.
Not right now. Not right now. Maybe sometime in the future, but
Okay,
you
so let me talk to Editing Reality really quick. She just came on late. I want to recap with her what we're going to do. So, Editing Reality, what happened is I started to talk about Joseph Campbell, and it was really, really brilliant stuff. Joseph Campbell, we were talking about Joseph Campbell and the 12 steps, and it was brilliant. Okay, then all of a sudden, what happened is um uh Bella's
gaming.
son Bella's son came on and he started talking about he's like the Big Bang Theory, and we went on and on and on. He's so smart. So we're gonna have him come on Friday and do a presentation. It's obvious. I mean, the show was on for 2 hours, so editing. He is brilliant. We were talking about dimensions and talking about dark matters and all that really bitchin' stuff. So he is Bella's son, and he's really brilliant. And he's going to come on Friday and do a presentation, which is going to be great. But the other thing that was really good, yes, it was cool. It was so cool. Wait till you hear him. He's brilliant editing. He's so brilliant. So he's going to come on and talk about multi-universes, dimensions, and maybe some crypto stuff. So it's going to be so much fun. Right, Bella? Tell her.
Yeah. It's gonna be well, he's probably gonna be doing most of the talking anyways because he he's got more knowledge of stuff like that. I mean, Bigfoot and stuff. I mean, I like I said, I watch videos and like I try to have it. I keep an open mind, but I've also dealt with paranormal stuff too. And UFOs. I've actually seen one.
Oh, she's
You
asking
know,
how old is he? 26?
he He's going to be 26 in August.
Yeah, editing, he's so brilliant. It was so great. He's brilliant. So, but I personally would prefer if he would stick to the dimensions and the multi-universe, because that's where he's good at that. I mean,
But you
that's
know
his
what's
work.
weird? Like I said, when me and my mother saw that, and it was daytime, it was like going towards twilight a little bit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
cool. Tell us your story.
But it was like it was the weirdest thing. Me and my mother both saw it. She was driving. I was sitting in the passenger side. My sister's in the back seat. My older sister. My mother's like, "Did you see that?" And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "I saw the same thing too." It was like a pair of legs running really fast, like like really, really super fast across the road.
Mm-mm-mm.
And I'm like, "This is really fucking weird." My sister's like, "I didn't see it. We saw it. Me and my mother saw it, but she didn't see it." So my mother sees things too. My mother's encountered,
Hmm.
spirits, ghosts, whatever.
Yeah.
And like I've seen like in Fort Ann back in '97, I saw what do you call it? A UFO like
Yeah. Out there.
hovering really low off it, like up in the it was so huge. It looked like a fucking mothership. That's how big it was. It had to have been the size of a fucking football field.
And that during the day, or was that the second time or first
No,
time?
this is at night. This is at night, and this is about 3 in the morning, and it was winter time. And what happened was the motel efficiency we were staying in, me, my Damien's father, and Damien then. He was real little, he was about 3, maybe going on 4 years old at the time. And it was like I had the door open, and I was laying next to on that side of the bed next to where the door was wide open because the heater was broken where it was hot all the time. So I had the bathroom window open, and I had the window over the bed open, and I had the door open. And I something told me to look out. I looked out the window, and then I got up and I looked, and there was off in the distance, probably I would have to say, I don't know, it was hovering low. There was no sound, and the colors were like red and blue and whatever. They were blooping in and out all around. It was going round and round. They were blooping in and out. And I woke up Damien's father, and I said, that's a US like he's like, "Oh, it's a UFO." I'm like, "Yeah."
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah. And he's like, "Close the door." And I'm like, "What difference is it gonna make? They're gonna
Yeah.
come through the fucking wall if they come here."
Hmm.
I mean, that I didn't even know that. And that's the first thing that came out of my mouth. So like I couldn't sleep the whole night. I had to go to work the next morning. I had to go to Fort Ann, not Fort Ann, Williamsburg. Well, this is like all around Lake George, that area. Queensbury, Lake George, Glens Falls, Fort Ann, Williamsburg, Fulton Landing, all them areas. Those are all upstate New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Upstate New York. Yeah.
So, and it's funny because when I looked it up, it was backed up by 2 other people. It was a guy and his father. And they saw it the same time I did.
Same exact time, same exact area. They were
The same exact date.
same exact description.
Yeah, it was like around the winter time. It was cold. It was freezing out cold. There was snow on the ground.
Hmm.
So, yeah. I
So
didn't
you
see
saw,
any aliens. I didn't see any aliens. I saw the spacecraft. But I didn't have we didn't have cell phones then.
and you said it was really, really big.
It was huge. It looked like a fucking mothership. It was big. Trust me when I'm not bullshitting you.
Yeah, no,
That's why I
no.
don't
I
like to
believe
tell a
you.
lot
Yeah.
of people because they probably like, "Oh, were you high?" No, I wasn't even smoking pot then. I wasn't drunk. I wasn't drinking. I had been sleeping, and I wasn't dreaming. I was wide awake. You know what I mean? And I woke him up, and saw the same thing. He's like, "Oh, it's a UFO. Shut the door." You know what I mean?
That's
So
funny. It's a UFO. Shut the door.
yeah, like it doesn't matter anyways, because if they're gonna get us, they're gonna go through they'll go through a door, windows, whatever.
Right.
You know, be like Betty and Barney.
Yeah. Campbell.
What's the
I
names
mean,
there?
yeah, the interracial couple, right?
Mm-hmm.
They actually seen it in New Hampshire, I think. It was up there.
Yeah, I saw New England.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
that wasn't New England though. That was New York. That was upstate New York. You
Right,
know,
which is more believable to me, you know? So you've seen a UFO twice?
I saw one there, and I saw one in Middletown, Connecticut, and it was daylight. It was going. It was like going towards evening.
So the
This
one in
thing,
Connecticut
and
when you
but
saw.
it was like way up there, but it zoomed in. It was weird because it zoomed in, and like, it wasn't a drone because it was huge. Drones are not fucking huge, and it wasn't like white. It was like it threw off colors, like it had like a color, and then it like when after it zoomed in on us, there was a bunch of us in the parking lot. Me and my ex-boyfriend, not Damian's father, but this other guy, and a bunch of people were in the parking lot, and we're like, wow, wow. And he's like, oh yeah, this Spanish dude's going chupacabra. I'm like, chupacabra? That's
Yeah.
a I said that's not a chupacabra. So you know the
Chupacabra is
difference?
an animal. This is a UFO dummy.
Yeah. So you know, and then it went back and then it zoomed off really quick. It made like a a left and then it disappeared. So that's not a drone. I know what drones look like. That wasn't a drone. It wasn't an air balloon or whatever the hell people want to call it. Or weather balloon, not air balloon, weather balloon. It's not anything like that. Wasn't a planet
So
because it moved with like people see when they see a UFO moves really like they can go like from the side to side, you know what I mean? And then backwards and forward.
yeah,
Now what plane can do that or what and it didn't make any noise.
yeah,
There's no sound, there's no noise.
yeah, and it was big, and so editing reality says we absolutely believe you. Lots of people are coming forward now. Uh, Marcus says hilarious Mexicans, saying it's a chupacabra.
Well,
That's
no,
funny.
this guy was Puerto Rican. There were Mexicans that lived there too. Like a bunch of Mexican dudes that lived in one room and brought in bed bugs and shit, whatever.
Puerto Rico, and then yeah, no, if it's moving side to side in a extraordinary speed, I mean the scientists talk about it. A human cannot handle that force when they where they just the it's just anyways, it's undeniable. It's not a drone. That's
What
ridiculous.
cracks me up is when they come out of fucking volcanoes and shit, or they draw on their energy or
Yeah.
their power. That's like what do they call it? Propulsion or something?
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, like, and then like, how about the one that was by the sun? Like, what the hell? How's that possible?
I mean,
You
do you
know?
know how many? Like, I know it's like that's like beyond fucking hot,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
melting, disintegrate. Raven, behave.
That's the third time you've taken blood from my shoulder, cat.
My kitten's like she's getting all spazzed out here.
So that's what
She's
plasma
uh,
energy. That's what editing said.
so what? What is it?
Plasma energy when they go into the volcano.
Yeah, or like the one there where there was drawn up water out of some pond or something, or not pond, I don't know, lake or no, lake. That's
Like
what it
the
was,
one
not
in
a pond.
Mexico when it did that in
I don't know.
Mexico.
It was something where it was drawing up water into its spaceship or whatever. Somebody had filmed that. And then
Hey,
one other time, I mean, I've seen it where they pick up fucking cows, cattle mutilation and shit.
oh, yeah, that's terrible. Look at this. I noticed something in this picture. If you guys can see,
I gotta
it
wait
looks
till it
like
comes up on the laptop because
I can
it's
see.
showing on my thing, but I can't see it on my phone.
It
It's so
looks like
tiny.
a dog's face right here. Not a
Yeah,
dog.
yeah, it looks like a wolf or something.
See that? It's
Yeah, it looks like a
crazy.
wolf.
That's crazy. Look at
And
that.
there it says the body. It looks like its shoulders are like up, and its head is. It looks like it's like gray and white. It's got like a white
Yeah,
stomach, and it's gray, and then it's like some white in the face. I
but
see
what's
it.
weird is you can see like a tooth right there.
A
Fuck,
tooth?
right here.
Oh, like he's snarling. That's what
Yeah,
he's doing.
that's
Hey, it
crazy.
could be a spirit of a wolf. You never know. I'm not talking like Wolfman or werewolf or whatever.
I want to show editing reality this while she's on really quick. Really quick. This one we already seen. This creature. This is a video. I can't wait to have the time to edit this. This creature right here. He's even got like a vampire hairdo
That's what I
right.
was gonna say. It looks like a bat, or it's got the Jolly Bee thing going on.
And then
You know, the
and then
Jolly Bee. You know how he's got that little V thing for the fangs or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. And then picture number 2. His freaking eyes are wide open in this one. Like he looks right there, wide open, boom. You can see the little dot right there. Oh, it's like a skeleton at this point. You can see the white,
But
the
look at the
dot,
one next to it. No, but look at the one next to it. See it?
this one,
You see what I'm talking about?
this
No,
one,
the one next to it. Next to the one that you were showing.
right
You
here.
see it?
This one,
Where's the pointer?
right here.
Yeah. Yep. It looks like it's peeking over a like you just see the eyes and like the bridge of the nose. Not the
Yeah,
bridge,
right there.
but like
Yeah.
the
But this is like kind of like sort of proof right here where the eyes are open. I keep saying this over and over, but it's important. And then this one, the eyes are different. It's movement. And now
yeah.
that face is gone. See, the face is gone. See? Now the face is gone. Picture 2. Anyways, editing reality. Let's get back. Chupacabra. Okay. Yeah, I saw a UFO.
Chupacabra.
I saw a UFO when I was 18 years old. We were on our way to a modeling job and driving down the 405, and we kept seeing this light, and we were driving to a modeling job. It was like 6 a.m. and we're driving, and this is went on for like 20 minutes, and I'm like, oh, look at that bright star. Oh, look, that bright star's closer. Oh, it's closer. Oh, it's closer, until it just literally came over us exactly in the freeway. And the weirdest thing is that when I looked up and it passed over us, it looked just like the Star Wars, like all of the weird,
You're
it
talking
was
about like the lights and stuff that were on the
no, no,
ship
no, like
itself.
the real Star Wars from the Lucas Star Wars, where it's underneath. It's always busy. Like it was like gray looking and dirty and pipes. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
Well, I was trying to get to
this
that.
is before Star Wars. People, this has been a kick-ass live tonight. Somebody said, yes, crazy. All right, Damon. So yeah, yeah. I wish Billy you took some pictures, huh? But we never have our camera ready
Well,
for
no,
you.
you know what it was? I didn't have like a disposable camera. I didn't even have a regular camera. And at that time, I'm talking 1997. They didn't have cell phones. I mean, there were cell phones, but you had to have money to have them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like they didn't have they were like the big ones. You know what I mean? Like they look like a regular telephone, like a cordless telephone. They were big. If you remember,
you were a drug
rich
dealer.
people could afford them. Yeah.
You were a drug dealer. Exactly.
So I didn't have access to that, and it was like, I mean, like I said, there was years and years and years and years later. Now we have the internet. So I looked it up, and 2 people saw the same thing. It was a father and son. They were driving. I don't know. They were saying, he gave like the miles or whatever it is, the latitude,
Mhm.
longitude,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. And it was in the same area. So they saw the same thing I saw, and that my ex saw.
Editing Reality asked the question and you answered it. She said, I wonder if you're the only one that saw it and was it in the news. Isn't that great? And you answered it.
Well, it wasn't in the news, like, but it was.
It was a UFO reporting site.
Yeah, it was a UFO reporting. So I don't know if it was. I don't think it might have been MUFON. I'm not sure. I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember. You know what I mean? Like I watch a lot of that stuff, like Jimmy Church. You ever watch him, Jimmy Church?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, the Fader Knots, whatever. Go Backley Tackley, blah blah. Dark River Moon coffee. You know, he always talks about that because he drinks it. He's got his own blend, his fade to black blend of coffee, believe it or not. But yeah, like the MUFON is like if you can report it. Like they're all, especially upstate New York. They've always got a lot of sightings, you know.
Right. Yeah. A lot there.
And there are Bigfoot sightings up there too.
I think it was
in Warrensburg and
ACRGIS.com.
Yeah, Ace. What is it?
ARCGIS.com/apps/web app viewer. It's if you look up UFO sightings map.
UFO sightings map. Yeah, but I'm wondering if mine's posted in there too.
Yeah, I think you can.
Yeah.
Just the timeline.
Yeah, just the timeline. 1997. It was around like November, December sometime. It was winter time. Like I said, all the heaters in the whole motel was broken. Like it was old, and so it was called the Queen Anne motel. Now it's called something else now. It's totally different name, totally different owner. I'm sure the owner that owned it, this older guy, I'm sure he's dead now. His girlfriend managed it, you know, and he owned a bar like straight down the street. Fort Anne is mostly like all like farming community, and you know, it was small. You know, it's like a one-horse town. You know what I mean? You had your post office, you had your bar, you had your like a few restaurant, like not really, but it was almost like, I don't know if do you remember that show Northern Exposure?
Yeah.
Okay, it was like something like that, you know. But yeah, it's like I said, it's like it was he saw that him and his dad saw the same thing that I saw. I don't know these people, but this was the same year, same time, same night, and around 3 a.m. in the morning. So, but something woke me up out of a sound sleep, and I looked out the window, and I was always afraid like a skunk would come walking in, you know? Because they're out in the wintertime too, skunks. So I was like, you know, but I'm like, it was hotter than hell in that damn room. Trust me when I tell you. It was like there was no swimming pool either, but I wouldn't go swimming in the winter. But you guys, though, you don't know what winter is. You guys don't have winters.
Terrible. We pray for snow. It never happens. Pray
Well,
for
you're in Southern California, yes.
Yeah. It's
okay.
Like it's we never have 4 seasons, so we pray for it and we get jealous, but
yeah, see, my boyfriend lives in Los Angeles. Izzy knows him. And he never ever experienced snow before, and he came down in 2016 around my birthday in February, and it snowed, and he loved it. But the thing is, I'm surprised you could drive in it. But it's funny, when it rains, you guys complain about it when you got to drive in it. California. I noticed that.
Hey, check this out. I was looking at something on the stages, the 17 stages of Joseph Campbell, and because I wanted to send something to Editing Reality, but she'll probably rewind it. But look at this. When they talk about Joseph Campbell, the 17 stages, right?
Yeah.
First thing it goes down to is the call to adventure, refusal to call. And look, they're showing Star Wars. Look, Luke's supernatural aid. The second one, you go down here, stage 2 initiation. Look at Darth Vader. Look, it is exactly what your son was saying, Damien. Then right here, atonement, the father. Look, this is all Star Wars. It's all the magic flight. It's all correlated with Star Wars. The Joseph Campbell heroes, 17
You know
stages.
what's funny? They had James Earl Jones do the voice, and then they rip the mask. He rips his helmet off, and it's a freaking white dude. That's
Oh,
funny.
yeah, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, it's James Earl Jones is a black dude. He's doing the voice
Right. He
for
does a
Darth
Arby's
Vader.
commercial now.
Yeah, he's got that really deep voice, you know?
Yeah. God, that's funny. I forgot about that. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, boy, oh boy.
Are you getting tired yet?
Yeah, I've had a long week and just
Plus, the heat don't help either. That's what, any kind of well, it gets humidity down. The air alert was like on high around here. You get a lot of humidity, but any kind of heat draws out your energy and it just makes you tired, you
it's
know?
terrible. It's like I'm so drained. So I went and did the a job in the desert. So I had to go all the way to Little Rock, way in the desert. I did this job. Then I had to go another hour deeper in the desert. And I went to Rosemont and I was pouring sweat like a guy, right? And my
Mhm.
face was beat red because it was like over 100 and the humidity. And the guy was like, well, let's just follow your drone when you're flying around the park. And I'm like, oh my God. So I was pouring sweat. Then I did the music road. Then I came home. And then the next day, my mom goes, Marie, I want to go to a car show. And that's what I do for my mom to get her out of the house. I take her to a car show. But to do that, I have to drive an hour in the heat. I was in my 1955 Chevy Bel Air, hot, no air. You got to worry about the
You have no
sound.
air conditioning in that? Oh my God, you're nuts.
Yeah, it's my classic car, that I take the car show, 55 Bel Air. So the
Oh,
second day,
okay.
I went all the way out in the desert to a car show, standing in the heat, driving for an hour there, an hour back in the heat. And then Sunday, I literally passed out.
Better be
Oh,
careful you don't get sunstroke.
James, it was really, I'm going to tell James real quick because he's at work. It was really good. We were talking about Joseph Campbell and it really was bitching. Then Bella's son came on and he talked to us about, multi-universes. He's like a scientist, this kid. So he's going to come on Friday and do a presentation about multi-dimensions.
Well, I don't know. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully you can make it.
Well, I'm going to figure it out with him the day he can do it. And then we'll announce it.
Yeah, because I want to make sure that, I don't want him to say yes and then something comes up. And you know what I mean? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but
I
you
know.
never know.
We got to
Because
arrange it.
I know how you are when you want to have a guest and they're like, oh, I don't have the equipment. I didn't get this and I didn't get that to do. Come on. Because you had that problem before. I don't know who it was. I can't remember. But it
Yeah.
wasn't that, it wasn't that guy there. What was his name?
No, it was
The
some
one
chick.
that,
There was some chick. It happens all the time, and that's okay. It's like I'm prepared. We're gonna do our best, and we'll do our best. But anyways, yeah, this has been a long night, and I'm really glad Bella's son came on, Damien. Thank you very much. I hope that you can come
again,
on.
now I'm all fired up and I'm like, and then you're like, I gotta go. Okie I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
they're gonna rewatch it. They're gonna rewatch it. Yeah, it's really bitching when you watch it. So let's email each other and let's figure out a time that he can do it on Friday, if that's
All right, well,
okay.
do me a favor, send it to me and Facebook again, because I might forget, the email address, like what the beginning part was. Was it G
Yeah,
Garbo?
yeah, G Garbo 143.
Okay, see, I would only remember G Garbo, but I won't remember the numbers.
Here's
But
the problem. Okay, here's the problem.
what's that?
Okay, Greta Garbo is my favorite actress, Greta Garbo. Okay, so I
Okay.
named my first dog Garbo. So my email is G Garbo for Greta Garbo, and
hmm
143 is I love you because my dog, Greta Garbo, I love you 143. So G Garbo 143 at Gmail. But anyways, I put it on again. I'll email you on Facebook. So thank you guys all for hanging out
What do
with
you
me on
mean? Just
short
message
notice.
me. You can't email me on Facebook. You can
I'm messing.
message me. I'm kidding. I'm
All
just
right.
playing.
I
All
got
right,
bites
I'll let you
all
go.
over me. I got
Huh?
bites all over me from the stupid bugs.
Are
So I
you
did
still
my,
doing real estate?
yeah, I do real estate and loans, everything.
Now, how does that work? Just real quick, give me a Reader's Digest condensed version.
Well, I have a real estate license and a loan officer's license. It's two things, but I do loans. But I do have a real estate license. So when somebody has a real estate, then I partner up with my partner in the office, and that's it. But it's like a lot of people go, "Oh, well, you must be doing a lot of loans." It doesn't work like that. What happens is each deal takes me 2 to 3 months to close, and so it's just
Yeah,
one problem after another. You can't, like today, my client, he makes a lot of money and he's refinancing his house. Well,
right.
somebody got him really cheap insurance that doesn't even cover all of his the $300,000 loan. And I'm like, oh my God. So I mean, I have to fix this. It's like, what insurance person doesn't fix that? Then their loan was sold to another bank, and the other bank didn't forward the loan payment, and it's missing. So there's always every day it's problems. But I'm
That's
a
stressing alone, man. That is
it's
like stress
horrible.
alone.
It's horrible. So, yeah, so I really appreciate Damien come on, Bella coming on. I hope that we can organize something on Friday and that everybody's looking forward to it. And I'm sure it'll be fun
Yeah,
for
I'm gonna
you too.
keep in touch with you. I'm not gonna keep you hanging or anything like that. So,
All right, cool. So we'll figure it out and then I'll post like a little picture or whatever he wants of whatever we're going to talk about, the Big
right.
Bang, I'll post it and so people will be reminded and come on fairly
Yeah,
timely.
because you know it's weird. I saw your thing tonight, and I was only like what, like probably not even a minute. I came on after I was the first one to say hello, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but sometimes I don't always get the notifications. Remember I told you that? Like, so I don't know if it's YouTube glitching on me or
Well,
what.
I told you guys a couple weeks ago, I realized that YouTube or somebody had put a whole bunch of people blocked. And I don't know who it was, but I
I hope
fixed it.
nobody hacked into your account. You know what I
No, I
mean?
think it might have been a bad seed. I'm not going to mention any names right now, but it's
I
fixed. I
think
did,
I know who you're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, I went while we were talking, I went into the system and checked, and nobody is blocked. And so
Well, that's
hopefully
good
it'll.
because yeah, because I was like, and I hit the notification bells clicked. It's been clicked for a year or so. So I don't know. Like I said, I think it's on YouTube. You know, I think it's YouTube doing that crap. You know what I mean?
I do too. But I did double check and it's fine. So tonight. So, anyways, all right, everybody, have a good night. Thank you very much, Bella and your son, for coming on. I hope to
Not
see
a
you on
problem.
Friday. We'll arrange it and I'll post a preview so people will know what time. And that's it.
Okay.
All right.
All righty.
I will talk
All
to you
right.
guys all very soon.
All right. Good night.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye.